Fret not, friends. The Fan is still live and local with Fan Sports Saturday. The name might not be great, but what if we included Tyvis Powell, a 3-year starter for the Buckeyes, defensive MVP of a national title game, and the man who brought down Alabama.
Ball in the air toward the end zone, and that ball is going to be on, and the Buckeyes get it. Coming out of the end zone with a football for Ohio State is Tyvis Powell. He goes racing up and is tackled at the 30-yard line, and the king of the SEC has fallen.
It's Fan Sports Saturday with national champion Tyvis Powell. Oh, and Eric Reeser.
Well, we're 0 for 2 on this July 4th holiday weekend because there is no Eric Reeser and there is no national champion Tyvis Powell. Although I think we've got pretty close to the next best thing here.
I do too.
I'm Ryan Baker. That voice you heard was Tim May. Glad to be here with you on this Saturday spectacular, as Eric Reeser would call it. You heard Jacob Reimer on the updates as well. He is on the other side of the glass, making sure we are out here to you people. Tim,
yes.
It is a pleasure to spend a Saturday with you.
Absolutely, man. I got this little call a few days ago, and right now I'd be up at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course getting ready to watch. Matter of fact, morning practice is beginning here in a few minutes. I think we're going to get to talk to Graham Rahal about 12:30 after morning practice, headed toward qualifying for the Honda Indy 200. But I'm very pleased to be here, as you well know, and I like hanging out with you.
Are you going to head up there later today,
yeah.
or are you going up tomorrow?
As soon as I was up there yesterday, and it was interesting. They were debuting the hybrid engine. Basically, it's the regular engine with a hybrid unit strapped to it now, for want of another term, and an MGU unit, as they say, but a motor generating unit. And as I said, Indy Car, it's really uncanny how they schedule the first practice about 3:30. And you can see almost every year rain clouds headed that direction. Of course, rain came down about halfway through that session, so you didn't get to see a whole lot of this much anticipated hybrid era debut for Indy cars. But they'll be flying up there today in one form or fashion, and it's I enjoy it, and enjoy the people I deal with up there.
The Honda Indy 200, the 41st Indy Car race up at Mid-Ohio this weekend. I'm so...
I've covered all but probably 2 of those or 3 of those, but
I'm so interested to talk to Graham today because you mentioned this is the first race with that new hybrid engine. So many questions just about like pit stop strategies.
Yeah.
How does it change what they do with the pit stops and everything? And then there's new pavement up at Mid-Ohio too, how that changes everything.
It's like Graham was saying yesterday, and some of the other drivers, you love new pavement. I mean, what's not to like about it? Because that means the track is smooth as it's been in a while. That means when things get wet, it doesn't get as wet. Obviously the water has to go somewhere. There's a little bit of a price to pay. You got to lay down what they call lay down rubber. The actual tires you're using form kind of a groove around the racetrack, and the more laps you get, the better the groove gets, et cetera. And they were, I think Graham was on the top of the leaderboard there for time yesterday afternoon in the 1 minute 7 second realm. And then finally, Alex Palou, the defending race winner up there and two-time defending IndyCar Series champion, ended up at the top of the leaderboard at the end. But then the rain muddled everything. But yeah, it's always good when it's a brand new track. There's hardly anything anybody has to complain about that, except it needs to groove in a little bit. But there was a big crowd there yesterday for practice, which was stunning. Now they've got other races going on too. Basically the minor leagues for open wheel racing in the United States are on display up there this weekend, including the Indy Next, which used to be Indy Lights, but Indy Next series. And those are nice race cars that go around there pretty dang fast too. But I'm expecting by the end of qualifying today, speeds to be right around the record mark for going around that 13-turn track, somewhere in the 1 minute and 5 second realm, and that's pretty quick to go over 2 miles in a race car.
It has been years, but I have been up to Mid-Ohio for qualifying for the IndyCar race and the IndyCar race itself. And if you have never been up there, or to an IndyCar race before, I highly suggest that you do it just because of the speed and the handling of those cars. And even from, it was probably 20 years ago that I was up there. The technology has changed so much. It's so much different. You're a guy that's covered Indy racing for a long time and have a huge passion for it. Where did all that come from for you?
Grew up in Alabama and Texas, and I never really liked stock cars. And I like the latest, greatest. I mean, I've always been that way when it comes to aviation, when it comes to cars, when it comes to, auto racing, because these actually, I've always said Indy cars and Formula One, they look like race cars. I would much rather get in something that's exotic as opposed to something I can drive every day or looks like I can drive every day. That is not poo-pooing at all the Winston Cup, or excuse me, the NASCAR Cup Series, from the standpoint of how high-tech those cars actually are now compared to even 5 years ago. But I've always been intrigued by the single-seater open cockpit, although these cockpits aren't really that open anymore on F1 and IndyCar. IndyCar has a big cover now that keeps you out of harm's way when stuff goes flying around out there. As Bobby Rahal once said after a crash-filled race at Michigan International Speedway back in the late 80s, it was kind of like, it looked like a World War II fighter plane in cockpit shots where the parts are flying all over the place, and you're just lucky one of them doesn't hit you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that they finally have gotten to where now and it's saved some guys' careers, maybe even some lives, man. You can point to the last several years since they've had that shroud, which includes basically windshields for these things. But they're so fast, they're so quick out of the corners. I invite people to go up there and stand above the bridge, on the abutment of the bridge in turn one, and just watch how fast they go through turn one, go under the bridge, make a left, and hit up that little straightaway up to the keyhole turn. It really does take your breath away. And now, this is not like oval racing where you get a lot of side-by-side stuff. Mm-hmm. You'll get that occasionally, passes, maybe on restarts and things like that. But just the thrill of how fast these cars go and how fast, as I like to say, they slow. Them and Formula One cars, it's dramatic how fast they brake. F1 cars especially. They only weigh like 1,200 pounds fully loaded, a Formula One car. Now, they don't race at Mid-Ohio, obviously, but Indy cars only weigh about 1,700 pounds. And this week, with the added push-to-pass and the hybrid system that they can regenerate the electricity from lap to lap, they're getting an extra 120 horsepower in some spots, which means they're peaking over 800 horsepower for the first time in about 2 decades. That's the way they employ that. You can actually see the speed, but then slowing that down to get into turn 3, turn 4 at the end of the back straightaway is breathtaking.
We mentioned earlier Jacob Reimer is here with us as well. First of all, Jacob, good morning. How are you on this Saturday?
Oh, I'm doing great, Baker. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Have you ever been to Mid-Ohio or an IndyCar race?
Not once in my life, no.
We need to get you up there then, because
Have you ever watched the Indy 500?
Maybe like bits and pieces, but
okay.
We need to get him up there, Tim, because as you said,
That's all right.
It's an experience for sure. We have a really big show coming up today. Excited, Tim, that you got Graham Rahal on. We'll talk to him at 12:33 after he qualifies this morning. Lots going on with the Columbus Blue Jackets. They still need a coach. They just got through the draft and development camp. They signed Sean Monahan and brought back Jack Johnson. So we'll talk to Dylan Tyrer, the pre- and post-game host on the Blue Jackets radio network, coming up here at 10:33. A lot going on with the Cavs as well. They've got a new head coach. Donovan Mitchell has re-upped. He's staying with the team for at least 3 more years. A lot of rumors about them in free agency. So we'll talk to Tim Alcorn, the radio play-by-play voice for the Cleveland Cavaliers, coming up at 11:33. A lot of recruiting news this week for Ohio State. We'll get into that as well. And for the first time all off-season, Tim, it hasn't been good news necessarily for Ohio State.
As the old saying goes, you can't get them all, right?
You can't
sign them all. And
it sure seemed like they were going to there for a while.
But here's what's really apparent for folks who aren't paying attention to the new Big Ten. The top 2 recruiting teams, as we speak now for the 2025 season and probably headed forward, for Ohio State and Oregon.
Oh, it's exciting.
A new Big Ten has bloomed. I know Michigan's won the last 3 championships. We can get into that discussion later today or later this month or later in the year. But the bottom line is Oregon is recruiting with Dan Lanning recruiting at a frenetic pace. And just think about this, man. When we see those 2 teams play in Eugene for, I think, only the second time in history, they will both be led by Big 12 transfer quarterbacks. And, Dylan Gabriel from Oklahoma to Oregon, and, of course, Will Howard to Ohio State from Kansas State. So it's the Ohio State-Oregon battle has been joined.
And it's so interesting, and we'll get into this, and you want Ohio State to win them all, but with Oregon getting some of them, I think it adds an extra spice to this rivalry that I think is going to come here, because these are the 2 teams that I think are going to lead Big Ten football here into the future. 24/7 Sports this week put out an interesting list about their most dynamic playmaking duos in college football history. And Tim, as someone who's covered college football and the Buckeyes for a long time, I cannot wait to get your thoughts on this list, and particularly what Buckeye duos you think got left out of this, because I think there's a couple. One came to my mind right away, and it shocked me that they weren't on there. And then it was a big week here on The Fan. In studio, not only did we have Jack Sawyer, and we'll let you hear some of that, but the Blue Jackets' first-round pick, number 4 overall, Cayden Linstrom. He was in with Rothman and Ice earlier this week. We'll let you hear some of what he had to say coming up next. It is Fan Sports Saturday. Ryan Baker, Tim May, in for Eric and Tyvis on 97.1 The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
America's favorite car show returns to Columbus with a jam-packed weekend of cool cars, cool people, and good times. It's the Good Guys 26th Summit Racing National, and it's all happening July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center. Cruise on out with your family and friends and check out over 6,000 of the country's coolest classics on display. And don't miss Good Guys CPP Autocross Racing action, Nitro Thunderfest, a huge swap meet in Vendor Midway, live music, family fun, and so much more. It's Ohio's biggest hot rod and party of the summer, and it's all going down July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center. Get details at good-guys.com.
Ready for an amazing deal? BreezeLine's fiber-powered internet, starting at $19.99 per month, offers the reliability you deserve and security you can trust. Whether you're streaming, gaming, or working from home, we've got all your needs covered with speeds up to 1 gig and our 2-year price lock guarantee. This deal gets even better with 2 free months of internet, free equipment, and free Wi-Fi your way to protect against cyber threats. Act now. Terms and conditions apply. Offer expires July 8th, 2024. Learn more at breezeline.com.
Patriotic spirit is here to stay. Celebrate the summer with big savings at Menards. Pick up an Olympus 3x5-foot American flag today. It's made in the USA out of durable, tear-resistant material that will keep your flag flying. Show your patriotism and save big. It's on sale now through July 7th at Menards. Ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction among home improvement retailers according to J.D. Power. For more information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Raising Cane's Iced Tea is the official iced tea of me, Iced Tea. Now, I heard some people order their box combos with water. Listen, water is for fishes and snitches, Jack. Chill out with Cane's Iced Tea this summer. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
At UDF, our made-from-scratch peach ice cream is back with a bonus. When you buy 3 48-ounce cartons, you can quickly stack an extra 20 cents a gallon in gas savings. UDF peach ice cream, made for you, while supplies last with an opted-in UDrive account.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Great coaching can make all the difference, especially when it comes to your money. At Right Pack Credit Union, our financial coaches are on your team. We'll help you create a winning game plan that's customized for your unique needs, so you can make the most of your hard-earned money and live the life you want to live. Best of all, Right Pack Credit Union serves all of Central Ohio, so getting in the game is easy. Let's win together. Stop by one of our Central Ohio member centers to get started today. Equal housing opportunity, insured by NCUA.
Common Man and T-Bone here. Visit Hollywood Casino Columbus this summer for exciting live sports action. We got the biggest screens around, and ESPN Bet is live in Ohio.
Plus, Penn Play Rewards members can win up to $500 Penn Cash every week. Visit PennPlaySports.com/cover5 today and register for your chance to play and win.
Not a member? Get the Penn Play app today.
Hollywood Casino Columbus is your live sports headquarters.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
With surgery and drugs being the main options to treat chronic joint pain, that left orthopedic surgeons like Dr. Ray Tessner thinking,
geez, wouldn't it be nice if we can have another form of treatment that eliminates some of the downside and has a bigger upside as we learn more about it?
And then he found it. Regenerative medicine, an exciting, fast-growing approach to dealing with pain using healing agents from your own body.
Well, it's using the miracle benefits of the human body to help encourage healing.
Today, you'll find Dr. Tessner at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving patients lasting relief from joint pain in their knees, hips, shoulders, and back.
It's one of the best management tools that has come around in a long time.
Finally, options other than surgery and steroids. All natural regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. Learn more. Call today for your free consultation.
Go to QCkinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Skies are nice and clear. We're staying really cool and comfortable today. This morning, waking up in the 60s and lower 70s. Humidity has finally dropped as well, making it feel even better. Through the afternoon, humidity stays low. Temperatures climb back into the 80s. Columbus stopping at 84. I'm meteorologist Madison Wright with your Doppler 10 forecast on The Fan.
Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Yes, it is Fan Sports Saturday. Hope you're having a great 4th of July holiday weekend. I think a lot of people are still celebrating the 4th on the weekend right now. Ryan Baker in for Eric Reeser, Tim May in for Tyvis Powell. Tyvis Powell celebrating his daughter's birthday today, so
good
that's
for him,
why he's
man.
not here. Good man, taking some time off. Jacob Reimer on the other side of the glass with us as well. Tim, I think you know that I am a big Blue Jackets fan. It is my...
I did know that. I saw your your T-shirt collection out there that you wear every day.
Probably...
Change them 3 times a day, which is really odd.
Probably every other day at least I'm wearing Blue Jackets gear. That's probably 50% of my wardrobe. But it's been tough being a Blue Jackets fan for the past... And I won't say that I've been all in from the beginning of the Blue Jackets, but the year before the lockout season, which was 2005, I attended my first Blue Jackets game in person, and I was hooked. And I had always been a hockey fan, a casual hockey fan, but I wasn't a diehard hockey fan until then, and it has been my one true fandom. And outside of the John Tortorella years, for the most part, and I guess you could even extend that to the Yarmo years because they had a couple good years before Tortorella got there. Being a Blue Jackets fan has been really hard. And then the past few years have been hard again. And obviously that led to Yarmo being let go and Don Waddell coming in. And we've really seen in just a short amount of time, Don Waddell has been here. Him kind of put his stamp on this thing as much as he could. And we're going to get that a little more here when they get a head coach. Probably, it sounds like in this coming week, they will announce the head coach. Don Waddell was talking to Dom Taberry last week, and he said they're down to 3 candidates. And I've heard it's still those 3 candidates. They haven't narrowed it down any as of yet. But it seems like, Tim, there's a plan in place now for the Jackets, and it's kind of the first time in a long time. Even when Yarmo was here, he swung big, and he brought in Panarin, but then Panarin left. He brought in the Duchesnes, but Duchesne was gone. It seems like for the first time there's a plan, and that plan is Big guys that can skate and depth down the middle of the ice.
Yeah, well, that's where every team, no matter what sport you're in, you got to be solid down the middle, man. It's just the way of the world, and yeah, it's almost, it's kind of like college football anymore. It is really difficult. That's why everybody is, even people away from Ohio State nationally, or looking at this Ohio State football team as being maybe the odds-on favorite. You could throw Georgia in there too, for sure, but just the guys that came back, but how solid they are, basically up the middle and on the edges. But it's rare that you can put that combo together in any sport and maintain it for, a season, much less several seasons in a row. The core group has got to carry you, no matter what sport you're in, but especially in the NHL. You've got to have those guys you just lean on. And you're right. I mean, the plan is there. Now the key is putting that together and then keeping it together. And I like this new GM. I called, I think on Monday when I was in here, I was asked to give my coach of the week. And my coach of the week, basically, I looked forward and said it was going to be McClellan, the guy I think they're going to end up settling on. But the week is almost over and it hadn't happened, so I feel kind of, I don't know, a little embarrassed.
It's
premature is the main word I would use there.
That's a great point in any sport, but you look at hockey, how good the Penguins have been, and they've had Crosby and Malkin. You look at Edmonton. Sure, Connor McDavid's the best player on the planet, but they have Leon Draisaitl as well, and they made it to the Cup Finals. Florida, they have Sasha Barkov, and then Sam Bennett and Anton Lundell. They've drafted good young centers as well, too. So you got to be strong up the middle of the ice. We know last year they got Adam Fantilli. His rookie season got cut short, but he seems to be the real deal at that center ice. Then this year at the number 4 pick, they picked Cayden Linstrom, a 6'4", 215, 220-pound kid that's only going to get a little bigger, and he can skate, and he's got a nastiness to his game that I really like. Here was Cayden Linstrom. He was in studio with Rothman and Ice earlier this week on Wednesday, and here's who Cayden Linstrom said that he molds his game after.
Guys like the Sedins, I watch them quite a bit, but I think now just kind of taking little bits of like Nathan McKinnon's game, because he plays a bit of that power forward skilled game, which I really like and enjoy watching. So I do the best I can to kind of pick little things from his game and add it to mine.
Henrik Sedin, a Hall of Famer for years with the Vancouver Canucks, and Nathan McKinnon, a number 1 draft pick formerly. He's won a cup with Colorado. Not bad guys to pattern your game after.
No, they're guys who, when they take the ice, they have an aura, and I don't mean in a strange way, but they have an aura about them that they can run you over or they can run right by you. And I think this Cayden Linstrom just physically, I think he brings that to the table. And watch the video of him playing, leading up to the draft and stuff. And since then, I've watched some highlights videos of him, and he has that presence about him on the ice of a big man you don't want to mess with. And you have to keep in check because he can be physical, but he also can skate right by you.
And I love the nastiness that you talked about there, because I think that's one thing that's been lacking from this Blue Jackets organization for the most part for a long time. They've always had tough guys, but they haven't had their upper echelon skill guys that were tougher guys and brought that nastiness and physicality all the time. Like Sidney Crosby, people get on him a lot for whining and complaining and not getting calls and trying to get them. He's a tough dude, though. He plays with a mean streak.
And the thing about it is, when we talk about tough, I'm not talking about cheap shot tough. I'm talking about you can't knock this guy off his skates. And Cayden Linstrom's like you and I just talked about. I mean, he's going to get maybe bigger and stronger as he goes along. But the tough guys are the guys that can take a hit and keep on going, which can sometimes cause you to get a little more flagrant defensively. But then on top of that, when they're on defense, they can, like, in essence, body you up and play within the rules tough, play within the rules nasty. And this young man seems to have that capability. I mean, he's got a ways to go, obviously. He's going to get tested. I'll never forget when I was down there, I covered LeBron James' first, quote, pro end quote, game down in Orlando in that rookie league. The first time he drove a lane, a big-time veteran, I can't remember the guy's name, but he just took an elbow and just hit him right in the chest, right in the middle of the chest with it as he drove the lane. And I remember asking him about that right after the game, and he goes, yeah, you got to learn to expect that, and you don't overreact to it because you want to set the tone real early that you're not going to shove me around. And so that'll be the case with Cayden Linstrom, but he has that ability, the ability to play nasty within the rules.
He also is a young man that seems very self-aware. Here's him talking to the guys about what he needs to do still in his game to be a top center.
Yeah, so obviously there's still a lot of work I need to do. Just over the summer, I need to work on just like playmaking. I think I'm a good playmaker, but obviously I can still work on it a bit. And just my D zone, I think needs a lot of work as well. Sometimes I'll get too caught up in the offensive mindset kind of thing, which is fine. But I really need to focus on defensive zone, defensive coverage, and just getting kind of 6 on puck, causing turnovers, and which I should already be doing. But I haven't got to that great of a level yet as I should be. But I think fairly soon I'll be at that level.
Those are good things to hear, especially from a kid that I've seen a lot of highlights of him back checking and taking care of that defensive zone in the junior ranks, but knowing that he still needs to take another step.
Oh, yeah, because he knows, man, this is a major step up, just like going from high school football to college football and college football to the NFL. You have to play with your mind as much as you play with your body, because your body, for these great athletes like him, get him to places in the junior ranks that won't get him there. You've got to be thinking ahead of the game. I like when I watch video of him, I think he plays with his head up pretty well. The old head on a swivel kind of thing. But I think he sees things on the ice that maybe some of his colleagues in the junior ranks aren't necessarily ready for. And when you get to the NHL, it's a total different level from an awareness standpoint of your fellow teammates and everything else. And I think that's only going to bring out the best in him from what I've seen of him. I mean, it's really curious because you'd like to chronicle him right now on what his awareness factor is, but how much wider his field of view will be 3 years from now of what's going on around, because it's going to be very narrow to begin with, because number one, he's not going to be wanting to make mistakes. If he gets to play for Columbus this coming season, it'll be interesting to see how he fits in, and then everybody else has to respect you, and then from there you take it up a level. But he has all those ingredients. That's why he was taken number 4 in the draft. He has all those ingredients to be I think a great one.
He really does. And it's going to be interesting to see probably a kid that doesn't make this team coming out of training camp, but he'll be here and he'll be given a chance. And it's going to be exciting to see the potential of him and Adam Fantilli grow together for this Blue Jackets team. We'll talk some more about the CBJ offseason development camp that just happened, the coaching search, and what is still on the horizon for the CBJ with the pre- and post-game host on the Blue Jackets Radio Network. He's Dylan Tyrer, and he's next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and Tebow.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
The Beat the Heat fan campaign is underway. Help Ohio's most vulnerable residents this summer. Purchase new box fans and take them to the nearest Franklin, Madison, or Marion County fire station. The Fan 10 TV Beat the Heat fan campaign is sponsored by Newman Roofing.
When you have to stop but don't really want to, stop at BP. Because BP has everything you need to keep it going. Fuel to keep the adventures going. The BP Me app to keep the savings and the commutes going. Snacks and drinks to keep the crew going. And the BP Me Rewards Visa to keep the rewards going and going and going. A stop at BP isn't a stop at all. Keep it going.
When life is on hold due to a painful injury or condition, every day counts. Start the path to recovery now with Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts. Start with orthopedic1.com.
Join us for Gambling Things, Fantasy Sports, Gambling Things, and most importantly, Gambling Things. Hollywood Casinos on the Money, Sunday morning at 9.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
The Fan.
Hey, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Sale. Hello. Save up to 50% on outdoor furniture and indoor essentials and have your best summer.
Oh, how about storage for my inflatable flamingos?
We've got you covered. Let's turn your space into a summer haven with space for birds.
Awesome.
Visit us in store from June 12th to July 9th or at ikea-usa.com/midsummer. Offer valid dates may vary. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store and ikea-usa.com/midsummer for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte, each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per $1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
You can use your phone at a doctor's office. You can use your phone at a football game. You can even use your phone at an amusement park. But one place you should never use your phone is behind the wheel. Fines now start at $150. So remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
America's favorite car show returns to Ohio for the biggest hot rodding event of the year. It's the Good Guys 26th Summit Racing Nationals, and it's all taking place July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Check out thousands of chrome and candied hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Shop the huge swap meet and vendor midway and see which rides take home the crown of the Good Guys 2024 Classic Instrument Street Rod and PPG Street Machine of the Year. It's all happening July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center, and you don't want to miss it. Get complete details at good-guys.com.
Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Glad to have you along this morning. Fan Sports Saturday, taking you till 1 o'clock today. Just talking about Cayden Linstrom and him being here on Rothman and Ice earlier this week. We'll talk some more Jackets right now with the pre- and post-game host on the Blue Jackets Radio Network. He is Dylan Tyrer joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. And Dylan, before we get into any Jackets talk here, you were out at the draft in Vegas. You made a week of it. You obviously were working hard, but you got to enjoy the town a little bit too. I saw you were at the UFC fight that weekend. How was your trip to Las Vegas?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me first off, but Vegas was great. You know, it was very unique to have the draft there, obviously. The Sphere was an awesome venue. They had it decked out with a bunch of different NHL things as far as the graphics go. They had some special stuff for trades. I think the trade alert maybe stole the weekend. Everybody in attendance really loved what they did for that. But it was extremely cool at the Sphere. What a great venue, great visuals, great sound. And yeah, I mean, when you're in Vegas, you gotta enjoy Vegas, right? And go to the different casinos, go to great restaurants there. And of course, it was fight weekend, so we kind of said to ourselves, "When in Rome, right? You're in Vegas,
yeah.
there's a UFC fight there. had to go to it. So, yeah, we went to UFC 303 and luckily got to see a head kick KO, which was pretty cool from Alex Pereira.
Hey, very awesome.
Yeah, Dylan, this is Tim May. I was just wondering, I had me and a buddy of mine were there for Super Bowl week. We always go there every year, except this year the actual Super Bowl was actually there. We didn't go to the Super Bowl because we didn't have that much money or winnings. But I wanted to ask you about that sphere. It's hard to believe somebody even conceived that, right? Much less built it.
Yeah, we were talking about that the whole time. Like, you're in there, and I'm just thinking to myself, how did humans possibly come up with the idea to do something like this? And, like, we were getting told that the way the audio works in there's not actually a speaker in the sphere. Like, all the different panels that the LEDs or whatever the graphics are on are also speakers.
Yeah.
That's how it got explained to us. So, I mean, yeah, it really doesn't make any sense to me. I have no idea how it works. All I know is it's really, really cool. They're actually going to do a UFC fight in there, which that'll be the first live sporting event in there, I think. Like, the NHL doing the draft there was the first actual sporting event there, but they're going to do UFC in there, which I think will be really, really cool.
And Dana's promised that it is going to be huge. Let's stick with the draft first off here. The Jackets get their guy at number 4 in Cayden Linstrom, but they take 6 prospects in the draft, and there kind of was a theme with them. They were all big, and they can all skate, and I really like the second-round pick of Charlie Ehrlich, the defenseman, too.
Yeah, Charlie is he's a big kid. I've gotten to know him a little bit over the course of the last week. He's a big baseball player, actually. He was a very good baseball player at that. He was the third baseman for Team Alberta up in Canada, and he only stopped playing baseball when he went to the WHL. But, yeah, he's a big right-shot defenseman who can move, and you're right. There was a very common theme among the players selected by the Blue Jackets this year. And, they did lean more defense, but this was a draft full of really quality defensemen. As far as it goes with Charlie Ehrlich, people thought that he could go late in the first round. The Blue Jackets ended up grabbing him early in the second. Another player that I really like out of the draft is Evan Gardner. The Blue Jackets traded back into the second round to draft him. He's a goaltender from the Saskatoon Blades. He's pretty young and raw. He was just a rookie in the WHL this past season, but he had a really, really good year and a nice playoff as well. I just got to see him play for the first time in person at Blue Jackets development camp this week, and I came away impressed. He looks like he could be something in net for the Blue Jackets, right around 6'1", 6'2". So he's not huge by any means, but he's got pretty good size, takes up more of the goal, I think, than you would expect when you see him play in person. So I walked away from development camp pleasantly surprised with Evan Gardner, so another quality goaltending prospect. A number of other defensemen in the draft, too. One of the guys that I really like is the Blue Jackets' last pick, Luke Ashton. He's monster
huge
out there on the ice, 6'7", 240 pounds, close to 7 feet tall on skates. And he's another guy that I would watch. He's a late-round draft pick, so he's a real project. He's going to be playing collegiately. But it'll take time for him, but you can see the tools there. He's got a really heavy shot. He can move a little bit out there, so I think it's a fun project. But, yes, the crown jewel of the draft was Cayden Linstrom, who projects to be a very quality center for the Blue Jackets for a long time.
Yeah, when you watch development camp, you just talked about a couple of things that jumped out at you, but how do they make it real, I guess, is for one of another term, to really get an eyeball on these guys and where they may fit in the pecking order about who maybe they should really maybe lean on, as far as a possible roster guy. And then, what are the things that kind of cut some guys down from standpoint maybe needs another year or two and whatever level he's at? You know what I'm talking about, Dylan? I mean, does Cayden Linstrom look like a guy who's ready for the prime time, I guess?
Well, as far as it goes with Cayden Linstrom, he didn't play a whole lot this last season because he was hurt.
Right.
Anytime a guy is drafted that high, his goal is going to be to make the Blue Jackets out of training camp. As far as it goes with development camp, though, and Rick Nash is the guy who actually is in charge of Blue Jackets development camp as the director of player development. He made it pretty clear that it's not an evaluation camp. The guys are there to figure out what it means to be a Blue Jacket, to kind of get accustomed to the organization. For many of the players, it's their first introduction to Columbus, first introduction to the Blue Jackets. So that's what it's about first and foremost. beyond that, development camp, really the drills they work on there, it's establishing some pro habits, getting out of those things that, you can get away with in junior hockey or college hockey, whatever level you're playing at. So that's one of the big goals of development camp too. But yeah, you can see the guys that are the better players out there. And a player like Cayden Linstrom, to answer your question, he didn't play a lot this week at development camp. He really just skated on the first day. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see him a whole lot, but that was the expectation going in. I would lean towards him going back and playing junior hockey next season again, just because he didn't play a whole lot this last year. In the time that he did play, he dominated flat out. Like, you look at the numbers, and it's really good. So it's exciting to imagine what his numbers would look like in terms of a full season playing in the WHL. And I actually told him when I talked to him this week, I'm like, hey, kind of happy you didn't play a full season this past year, because if you did, the Blue Jackets might not have been able to grab you at fourth overall. He might have gone higher. So that's how I think about it. I lean towards him going back to the WHL and having a big season there and doing all sorts of things internationally, going to the World Junior Championship, hopefully winning a gold medal there, things like that.
Yeah.
But his goal is going to be to make the camp, or to make the roster right out of camp. Heck, we saw it with Cole Sillinger a few years ago. Cole was the 12th overall pick, technically 11th, because Arizona didn't have their pick in front of the Blue Jackets. You really don't ever expect a guy that gets drafted around there to make the team out of camp. But Cole Sillinger did it his rookie year, and he played an entire season in the National Hockey League. So, it's not to say that it won't happen. I would say it's unlikely. I don't think many guys that were drafted this year are going to be playing in the NHL next season. Frankly, it might only be one, Macklin Celebrini, who went first overall. But that's not to say Cayden Linstrom won't try.
Yeah.
Dylan, I'll combine a couple here for the last one with you. The Jackets fill a couple needs in free agency with Sean Monahan and Jack Johnson coming in. The coaching search, we've heard it's down to 3. Can we expect possibly an announcement this week? And then what's on the horizon here for the CBJ outside of those things?
Yeah, as far as it goes with the coach, Ryan, I would expect it to happen pretty darn soon here. You never know what's going to come up in a coaching process, because it's obviously up to management and up to the coach himself to iron things out, but it's got to happen soon, right? I think Don Waddell made that very, very evident at the draft. He said he wanted to get it done hopefully in the next week, so here we are in that next week. With the free agents, I like the moves. Jack Johnson is a Columbus guy. He played for the Blue Jackets for a long time. He still calls Columbus home, and I think he was motivated to come back here and help this team become a winner. And that might not necessarily be with everything he does on the ice, because I do think he's going to contribute on the ice. He played 83 games 2 years ago and played 80 games last season. So it's a guy that still got it, obviously. But he's going to be a big voice in that dressing room, and specifically in that defensive group. The Blue Jackets might have 2 very young defensemen on the team next season, and both David Juracek and Denton Matejchuk. So it's nice to have a veteran presence like that. Sean Monahan will serve a similar purpose in the Blue Jackets forward group. You think of all the young forwards the Blue Jackets have. Sean Monahan was the 6th overall pick back in 2013, so he knows what it's like to be a high first rounder and have this pressure. He also knows what it's like to produce in the National Hockey League. He played alongside his good friend Johnny Gaudreau for a number of years in Calgary, and it felt like every single season those guys were 1-2 in scoring with the Flames. So it's nice to have them back together. A little instant chemistry for Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan. Sean as well, he can still produce. If I keep telling people, you look at the numbers he put up last season between Montreal and Winnipeg, he had 59 points, he scored 26 goals. If he's on the Blue Jackets, he leads the team in goals, he finishes second in points. So it's not like you're adding a slouch by any means. This is a guy that could potentially lead the Blue Jackets in scoring. I said it before, do I want him to lead the Blue Jackets in scoring next season? Hopefully not, because I want Johnny Gaudreau to have a big season. I want Adam Fantilli to have a big season. But he's a guy that's going to contribute. He's going to be a factor. Don Waddell expects him to be the first-line center, which I think does a lot for the Blue Jackets down the middle. I would go as far as saying they're as strong down the middle right now as they have really ever been. They're on the precipice of really having something special down the middle, as long as these guys continue to develop and once Cayden Linstrom steps in, yada, yada, yada. But I do really like the addition of Sean Monahan. I think he's going to add a lot to the Blue Jackets, and I'm excited to meet him in person. As far as the rest of the offseason goes, you never know when moves might happen. There might be an odd trade here and there. There might be, a depth signing at some point. I'm not sure. But everybody's going to go away for a while. That's how the NHL works. After the draft, the free agency period, it gets all that is fast and furious. So I think everybody wants to take a little bit of a break, get away from the game, and then players will start to come back in August and gear up for training camp.
Exciting times and busy times for the Columbus Blue Jackets right now. Dylan, thanks for taking some time on this holiday weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Tim and Ryan. I appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
He is the pre- and post-game host on the Blue Jackets Radio Network, Dylan Tyrer, joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We talked about Cayden Linstrom being live in this studio on Wednesday. He wasn't the only one. Jack Sawyer joined Morning Juice. We'll let you hear from him next. It's Ryan Baker. It's Tim May. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
It's time to start saving with deals for days at Giant Eagle and Market District. From the everyday essentials to your must-have branded favorites, Deals for Days has low prices on more than 1,000 items across the store. Don't delay. These discounted prices on your go-to groceries will only be available for a limited time. Learn more about Deals for Days at GiantEagle.com or dive into savings today at your local Giant Eagle or Market District.
Common Man and T-Bone here. Visit Hollywood Casino Columbus this summer for exciting live sports action. We got the biggest screens around, and ESPN Bet is live in Ohio.
Plus, Penn Play Rewards members can win up to $500 Penn Cash every week. Visit PennPlaySports.com/cover5 today and register for your chance to play and win.
Not a member? Get the Penn Play app today.
Hollywood Casino Columbus is your live sports headquarters.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Raising Cane's iced tea is the official iced tea of me, iced tea. Now, I've heard some people don't order iced tea with their box combos. I've also heard some people spontaneously combust. Sip on that for a while. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Hi, it's Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Need a perfect gift? Check out the new line of Glock watches and other stunning jewelry at Worthington Jewelers. Make every occasion sparkle with Worthington Jewelers, where exceptional gifts await.
Save big money on everything for your next project today at Menards. Transform your home in one weekend with exterior stain and sealer from Dutch Boy. It provides one-coat protection on decks, fences, siding, and outdoor furniture, and repels rain in just 4 hours after application. That means quicker results, saving you both time and money. Menards, ranked #1 in customer satisfaction among home improvement retailers, according to J.D. Power. For more information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Swimming is a great way to exercise and spend time with family and friends. Always swim with a buddy, keep an eye on children, and be prepared in an emergency if there is no lifeguard on duty. The next time you go to the pool, be water smart and know where the safety equipment is located. Complete the Ohio Department of Health Safety Equipment Scavenger Hunt and learn more about pool safety at odh.ohio.gov/swim. Have a safe swim.
One of the most important Buckeye football seasons ever is coming. The Fan is your home for all the news and interviews you need as fall camp approaches. Join us. We're a friendly bunch of degenerates. Your Buckeye station, The Fan.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our Central Ohio financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
We go to war for you.
At Sugar Schnorr Trial Attorneys, we don't back down. Accident? Call us today at 877-WAR-FOR-YOU or visit warforyou.com for free consultation. Know your rights because results matter.
That's
877-WAR-FOR-YOU. 877-WAR-FOR-YOU. Or visit warforyou.com.
War for you, warforyou.com.
When you have to stop but don't really want to, stop at BP. Because BP has everything you need to keep it going. Fuel to keep the adventures going. The BP Me app to keep the savings and the commutes going. Snacks and drinks to keep the crew going. And the BP Me Rewards Visa to keep the rewards going and going and going. A stop at BP isn't a stop at all. Keep it going.
Score a goal with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the checking account that rewards you for supporting the crew. Learn more at pathwayscu.com. Pathways Financial Credit Union, official credit union of the Columbus Crew, federally insured by NCUA.
If you're listening to this and you're not already keeping it easy in your backyard with Bud Light, well, consider this message a gentle reminder. Your backyard is waiting, and so is that Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Weston Air Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Welcome back in, Fan Sports Saturday. Ryan Baker, Tim May in with you. Jacob Reimer on the other side of the glass. Big thanks to Dylan Tyrer for joining us last segment, talking some CBJ. And also a big thanks to Jack Sawyer. He came in this week and hung out with the Morning Juice guys. And Jack Sawyer is a guy that I really feel, Tim, is primed for a breakout year. We saw him, and he's been a solid player. But really last year, the last 2 games of the year, he really seemed to come on and play maybe his best football. He might be the only guy that played well in that Cotton Bowl against Missouri. And I just have a feeling the kid from Pickerington is primed for a big year.
I thought the last several games last year, you could just see him amping it up, and, we talked to him during the spring and stuff. And sometimes for a player, it's hard to see that from his perspective because he's been playing hard since he showed up. But when it all kind of comes together, you're a move here, a move there that you maybe didn't throw on people before, right on down the line, but also playing damn good against the run. I mean, defensive guys, it's not all about attack the quarterback unless you're in there unless you're an edge guy on 3rd and long and you're sitting in there to attack the quarterback. and the thing of his awareness of what's going on around him, where his help is, things like that. I mean, you just saw it amp up. But it's a shame for Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau, for example, from that Cotton Bowl, that the offense only scored 3 points.
Yes.
Because that was up until the 4th quarter, that was a stellar defensive performance by the Buckeyes, and really kind of shut Missouri down until finally, I think, just they hit a few big plays, and that was that, right? But you can say about a lot of things. But Jack, you definitely saw him come on as late in the year, and he wants to follow through with that. He looked like just a pure veteran out there in the spring when we got to watch him, and that's what stands out more about him. He looks like he's ready for prime time, but he still wants this Peoria gig.
Here was Jack this week, and he's a guy that a lot of NFL teams would have liked to had this year. He could have went to the draft and been a 2nd or 3rd round pick, but he decided to come back, and here's Jack on why he did that.
Yeah, I think for me it was fairly easy. I think coming on late in the season last year, finally playing my best ball, was good for me. And then also after the year, just sitting there and really thinking like, hey, I'm from Columbus. I love Columbus, Ohio. I love the fans. I love Coach Day. I love Coach Johnson, Coach Mick, everybody that's a part of Ohio State. And we fell short of reaching our goals that we promised these guys when we signed the letter of intent to come here for the last 3 years. And for me, that just didn't sit right with me. And I know I wasn't gonna walk out of here on those terms and not, when we have another shot to go out and beat the team up north and win a Big Ten title and win a national championship with the guys that we have. I know for a fact that we have the team to do it this year. So for me, it wouldn't have sat right with me to leave and kind of left those guys hanging, left Columbus hanging with having another shot to come back and do it. So for me, the decision was easy, and it was about coming back, beating the team up north, winning the Big Ten title, and then winning the national championship.
And you gotta love that aspect of it, the brotherhood of this team and this group, and true leadership is putting others before yourself. And you just talked about him in the spring. He seemed like a true leader out there, and those words back that up.
Oh, absolutely. And and the great thing about the NIL era, which is recently upon us, is you can still make coin while playing college football now, and not getting necessarily left in the way. Because football is, most guys who play it know, you're one bad injury away from not getting to play football anymore. But the point is, you're never going to be able to relive college football in your resume again once you leave. And whereas the NFL, you can end up with 4 or 5 teams for you and win a Super Bowl or something. It all comes together. And there is a sense by all these guys that they are part of something special right now, not necessarily beating their chest at, we return, but what they return to. And that's the great thing about it, Ohio State, that I've said for many years now, is you get these guys bubbling up, or the guys who stick, and then the guys bubbling up who've been in the program for a couple of 3 years. When that all comes together and you add a little bit of frosting on the top with the transfer portal, you get a team like you've got at Ohio State this year. And I think they all sense they're part of something special. Now they got to go out and make it happen. You got the talent and the experience. You mentioned JTT. When you mentioned Jack and him, you mentioned the other, vice versa. They're kind of their careers are just kind of linked here at Ohio State. They were supposed to be big time players coming in, and like I said, late in the year last year, it kind of came to fruition for both of them.
Here's Jack talking about playing with JT Tuimoloau.
I think it's been great. I mean, I think he'll tell you the same. Me and JT's relationship's grown so much over the past few years, and it's always been that competitive nature. Like you said, 2 alpha guys always working with each other, always kind of being compared to each other, which is kind of unfair to do to 2 teammates who are good friends like we are. But it's been great. I think it brings the best out of me, and it definitely brings the best out of him too. So I love going to work with JT. He's strong, he's fast. He can do, anything on the football field. So having a running mate like that, it's only brought the best out of me, and I'm really excited for what we're going to show on the field this year together.
2 alpha dogs, 2 guys that were highly recruited. I think both of them at one point number 1 players according to some recruiting services in their recruiting class. You said something a little bit ago about rushing the passer. I want to come back and I want to touch on that in JTT and Jack a little more. Plus, Ohio State, they took a couple L's on the recruiting trail this past week. We'll talk about that. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte. Each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per $1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
America's favorite car show returns to Columbus with a jam-packed weekend of cool cars, cool people, and good time. It's the Good Guys 26th Summit Racing National, and it's all happening July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center. Cruise on out with your family and friends and check out over 6,000 of the country's coolest classics on display. And don't miss Good Guys CPP Autocross Racing action, Nitro Thunderfest, a huge swap meet and vendor midway, live music, family fun, and so much more. It's Ohio's biggest hot rod and party of the summer, and it's all going down July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center. Get details at good-guys.com.
You've heard my promise to you before, but I'll say it again. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians will always come through for you when you need us to. It doesn't matter if it's restoring cooling, heat, or plumbing. We'll get there when you need us and fix the situation right then and there. Unfortunately, though, there is one situation where we can't get your cooling or heat working again, and that's when the power goes down. If that happens, there's nothing we can do to restore comfort to your home at that time. What we can do is install a whole home backup generator ahead of time. That way your home will remain an oasis of cool comfort or warmth and light, Wi-Fi, and all the comforts of civilization. And since the point of a backup generator is to come through with power when you need it, we also provide full service and maintenance for your Eco-installed generator. So you know your backup generator will be as reliable as Eco. Want that added reassurance for your home? Call us
at geteco.com.
At United Dairy Farmers, peach is our most popular ice cream. Although it's only here for a short time, we sell more of it than any other flavor. And once you taste it, you'll know why it wins the popularity contest. We make it from scratch by mixing in the juice from our hand-selected peaches and big chunks of fruit. That's what gives it that unique peachier flavor. And that might also explain why peach season at UDF doesn't last long. UDF Peach Ice Cream, made for you.
Common Man and T-Bone here. Visit Hollywood Casino Columbus this summer for exciting live sports action. We got the biggest screens around, and ESPN Bet is live in Ohio.
Plus, Penn Play Rewards members can win up to $500 Penn Cash every week. Visit PennPlaySports.com/cover5 today and register for your chance to play and win.
Not a member? Get the Penn Play app today.
Hollywood Casino Columbus is your live sports headquarters.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Jacob Reimer. Starting in baseball, the Reds' 3-game win streak came to an end last night, losing to the Tigers 5-4. They tried to mount a late comeback, scoring 2 in the ninth, but couldn't get the tie-and run across the plate. They are back in action at Great American Ballpark today against the Tigers. Hunter Green will take the mound for the Redlegs. First pitch from Cincinnati is at 4:10. The Guardians will also look to bounce back today after dropping the first of 3 with the Giants last night, 4-2. Tanner Bibee picked up the loss, moving his record to 7-3. They get things going against the Giants again today with Logan Allen on the bump for the Guardians. Kyle Harrison will throw for San Francisco. First pitch from Progressive Field is at 4:10. And in the NBA, summer leagues get underway today, beginning in San Francisco with the California Classic Summer League, where Bronny James will make his NBA Summer League debut. He and Dalton Connect for the Lakers will take on Sacramento Kings at tip-off at 4:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. Breaking sports news, what happens on The Fan.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Hour number 2, Fan Sports Saturday on this July 4th weekend. Hope you had a great 4th and are being safe out there. Don't be losing any fingers setting off fireworks. Or did you see the story out of South Carolina where a guy set a firework off on his head?
Well, people do
he ended
stupid
up
stuff.
Passing away from the injuries.
Oh, wow.
What are we doing, people?
That's about as stupid as it gets.
Jason Pierre-Paul was bad enough, but what are we doing?
Yeah, don't drink and ignite. I think that's the best scenario.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, there's some people, we've had Hilliard move in around us as opposed to the other way around because we got 4.5 acres and 3 horses and stuff. And my wife was really upset the last couple of nights because there were some people back over in the new neighborhood who were shooting fireworks kind of like out up over our property.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 3 horses, and horses and fireworks don't go together very well. Yeah, I mean, when in those cowboy movies, when they get the horses moving on a stampede, they would fire guns, right? So, but I mean, boy, Hilliard, for example, City Hilliard, we've watched their fireworks show now for more than 40 years. They always do a great job, man, and it draws in people from all over the region and stuff. But I love fireworks. But my big brother had a cherry bomb go off in his hand one time. This was back in the 60s, and that's as close as I've been to a major accident. Luckily, it didn't do any damage for some reason or another. But these are little cherry bombs.
Lucky.
They don't even make those anymore because probably. But and the little TNTs, they look like little pieces of dynamite. I mean, why would you be anywhere near that thing when it goes off, right?
Jacob, you live down in Lancaster, I'm sure you've seen stuff like this before.
Yes. We saw the fireworks show from the fairgrounds in Lancaster and off of Mount Pleasant there. It was pretty nice. We had a nice view from our upstairs closet, but we had some trees and stuff from the street over blocking that, but we could still see them.
Mount Pleasant, is that little mountain in the middle of Lancaster?
Yeah, that's pretty
Rising
cool.
Park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, been there a few times, man. That's pretty sweet.
Tim, last segment we were talking about Jack Sawyer, and he is one of the many guys that decided to come back this year, and JT Tuimoloau as well. And Tuimoloau. And you made a great point at the beginning of last segment where you talked about, for these defensive ends, it's not always about sacking the quarterback. You can do, stopping the run is huge and keeping contained and all of that. We had that run at Ohio State with Joey and Nick Bosa and Chase Young, and they were so good at getting to the quarterback that I think it
still are.
Still are, yes.
I won some money with Chase Young in the Super Bowl.
Sam Hubbard, another one,
yes, absolutely. Sam Hubbard should not be discounted.
But we were so spoiled with those guys that it's almost like this last group of defensive linemen. I'll throw Zach Harrison in there as well. Yep. They come in so highly recruited that if they don't have the huge sack numbers, they're not playing up to their potential. But a guy like Jack Sawyer last year was one of the highest rated players according to Pro Football Focus, and what he does at that defensive end line position. I think because these guys maybe aren't getting the sacks, we don't appreciate just how special they are.
Yeah, I mean, just from the respect they bring to that defensive front when an offense is getting prepared to go against them and stuff, you can see it. Sometimes if you're watching a game, I always watch a football game from the inside out, which is what's going on the offensive and defensive lines, and then expand from there. And you can see the respect that these guys give. Now, for example, with Jack Sawyer, and this isn't knocking a criticism of the Jim Knowles era, but Jim Knowles came in and immediately identified like Mitchell Melton as a possible Jack player, or as they called him, Leo at Oklahoma State, but they changed it to Jack at Ohio State because they weren't sure they had that right guy. Then he gets hurt in the spring that year, and they kind of decide to make Jack that Leo player as opposed to getting you mixed up with calling Jack the Jack. But basically, Jack was going to played the Jack position. And how much they played it, was not very much, but I think he kind of got lost to a certain extent in that experiment, for want of another term, because when they got kind of back to basics last year, which is you don't necessarily with great athletes on your defensive side need to try to fool people as much as just beat them. And once they got back to Jack Sawyer just being that guy, beat this guy in front of you and get to the quarterback, and if possible, sack him, it kind of changed his game, in my opinion, and changed the defense's fortune. So that's what's really helped him, I think, is Jim Knowles coming to grips with what Jack Sawyer brings to the program, and maybe vice versa. And then JT Tuimoloau, the problem with JT, if there is a problem with, there have been times when it seems like he, I'm not going to say disappears, but he's not quite the player he was every down like he was at Penn State, that ridiculous game 2 years ago over at Penn State. I mean, that was a clinic for, one of the most underrated, I think, personal performances in Ohio State football history, what he did over there. He was a one-man wrecking crew. Now when you get both of them working together and do what they do best in their senior years, their fourth years, it's going to be interesting to see how offenses handle that.
I'm glad you just talked about this Jack position because for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like it's worked out here at Ohio State.
But they kind of basically abandoned it last year.
Yeah, and maybe it's because they haven't had the right personnel. But this Jack position possibly might have cost Ohio State a recruit this week, it sounds like, because Justin Hill, linebacker, edge rusher out of Cincinnati, Winton Woods, somebody that Ohio State has been really after for a while, chose Alabama. Right. And he said he chose Alabama because he felt that they could develop his skills or whatever. He's seen their defense and what it can do for him.
Yeah.
And Ohio State, from everything we've heard, was recruiting him to play a jack position. And there's just not really film of that on the field. And it sounds like that was a issue for Justin Hill and him choosing Alabama this week. Ohio State lost out on some other recruits this week as well. And these other three all ended up at Oregon, that being DeCorian Moore, the number 1 wide receiver in the 2025 class, Jordan Davison, a 4-star running back in this class, and then Dorian Brew, a cornerback who had been crystal balled to Ohio State for like a year now, a kid that grew up in Ohio and then moved away. Ohio State's offseason has been so good that when we see this in the recruiting trail, we're like, wait a second, what's going on here? But Ohio State, I think they're fine. I know they really wanted DeCorian Moore. He's the number 1 wide receiver, obviously, but they've already got 3 in this class. They obviously have Jeremiah Smith and Carnett. They have an embarrassment of riches at the wide receiver position. Jordan Davison, I think they kind of got their guy when they got Bo Jackson. That was the guy they really wanted at the running back position. Right. They've got Isaiah West as well. So maybe that was a situation. I don't know where Ohio State was. Well, maybe they didn't put the full court press.
Well, a lot of these guys and their families and their representatives, they read the internet too. For sure. So they know where and the thing is, when you're going out of state to get some of these guys, they're not necessarily sold on. I mean, they're getting recruited from all over the country. I mean, when Ohio State played Oregon in the Rose Bowl in 2009 season, I think it was. They had a running back, LaMichael James, from right outside Texarkana, Texas. I mean, it's the Oregon recruits all over the place also, and it comes down to decisions, and sometimes they look at what are the number of bodies there. Obviously, running back wise, they know they're probably losing 2 running backs this year after this year, and they want to sign 3 if they can, but that's, but you don't just take anybody. And there's always going to be the transfer portal, et cetera, like the way they got Quinshon Judkins. The interesting thing about Justin Hill to me, though, is and we'll see. Recruiting's not over, by the way. It's not over till signing day, and so we'll see how that goes. But when a guy like Jim Knowles has envisioned you as playing a certain, being that classic guy in his defense, I mean, that means they do have big plans for you. I mean, they think you have the goods to be an edge rusher 1 minute and drop off into coverage the next. And Ohio State does some zone stuff with their defensive ends, Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau, but that should be taken as a compliment. That means they do have you in mind. They're not just recruiting you to recruit you. And the thing is, it stung about him was they were after him for a while. I mean, Justin Hill. But Alabama's played pretty good football in the last few years.
Absolutely, they have. And Dorian Brew, that's a blow, but you have the number 1 and number 2 cornerbacks in this class already, and you've had top 10 cornerbacks, 2 of them in the last 2 classes as well. You want to get everyone.
Yeah.
You're right, but you don't just take anyone, and you also, unfortunately, in this NIL world, you can't pay everyone either.
Yeah.
And if you can't get everyone, I kind of like Oregon getting these guys because there's a budding rivalry here.
That's what we talked about at the top of the show, brother.
With Ohio State and Oregon. These guys, and don't forget Jeremiah McClellan last year, who flipped from Ohio State to Oregon on signing day.
Right.
That just makes this whole Ohio State-Oregon thing bubbling up even more.
You can see it if you're paying attention, and it's the idea that Ohio State's going to play Oregon in the middle of October. They might play again the first weekend in December, and who knows, they might play again later in December or January. So it's definitely there. That's not discounting other teams. I know, Michigan's going to be good. Are they going to be as good as last year? I don't see it. Or the last couple of years, I don't see it. Penn State's going to be very good. Run them down. USC, while they're sort of the lost child in the wilderness right now, but if they come back and actually do play a little bit of defense, they're going to be interesting. But, Oregon, Ohio State in the new look Big Ten, that's definitely where it's at. But like you were talking about Dorian Brew, I had Devin Sanchez's mom and dad on my podcast this week, the Tim May Show, and just interesting, like I said, a fabulous player who's well-grounded, and now you know why, because if you were listening to his mom and dad talk about how they approached recruiting, and his dad's a big cheerleader for Ohio State now in the sense of the recruiting side of things, and he puts things in perspective, there's always another good player around the corner if you just keep circling the block, and that's what Ohio State has gotten into now. It's on the agenda of almost every major prospect there is in the country. Not all, but almost every. And so you just go from door to door, till you fill your class.
And like you said, recruiting isn't over until signing day happens. And even then it's not over because the transfer portal, you keep recruiting.
I think they're going to stay after Justin Hill. That's just the sense I get.
And don't forget, you still have, regardless of this, the number one recruiting class right now in the 2025 class. An Ohio State wide receiver got some high praise this week. We'll tell you who it was next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Death, taxes, and beating Michigan every damn year. This is your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic, Hidden Valley Ranch, or new smoky barbecue. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Life. It's full of strange twists and unexpected surprises. But at AAA, it's always been our policy to look on the plus side. And our AAA Plus members tend to take the same view. Take Martin, for example. Last Monday, his morning coffee surprised him with an extra 10 degrees of Fahrenheit. Ouch! It was just the jolt of energy he needed to start the day. Later, when his shirt was targeted by the mustard on his burger, he became a proud trendsetter.
Martin, looking good.
And when he walked face first into a sparkling glass door, he was happy to provide some much-needed entertainment for his coworkers.
I'm okay.
And of course, when his car battery took early retirement, Martin felt no resentment. He knew there was a plus side. AAA's expert roadside assistance was only a call away.
Hello, AAA. Are you in a safe location?
While we can't all be like Martin, we can become a AAA Plus member and experience the peace of mind that comes with living on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Sale. Hello. Save up to 50% on outdoor furniture and indoor essentials and have your best summer.
Oh, how about storage for my inflatable flamingos?
We've got you covered. Let's turn your space into a summer haven with space for birds.
Awesome.
Visit us in store from June 12th to July 9th or at IKEA-USA.com/midsummer. Offer valid dates may vary. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store and IKEA-USA.com/midsummer for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Hi, it's Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Need a perfect gift? Check out the new line of Glock watches and other stunning jewelry at Worthington Jewelers. Make every occasion sparkle with Worthington Jewelers, where exceptional gifts await.
Rise and shine, jabronis.
What a show this morning.
There's only one place where Buckeye legends lay the smackdown. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekday mornings starting at 6.
Give me a juice box, Beyond.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte, each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorrento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our Central Ohio financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
America's favorite car show returns to Ohio for the biggest hot rodding event of the year. It's the Good Guys 26th Summit Racing Nationals, and it's all taking place July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Check out thousands of chrome and candied hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Shop the huge swap meet and vendor midway and see which rides take home the crown of the Good Guys 2024 Classic Instrument Street Rod and PPG Street Machine of the Year. It's all happening July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center, and you don't want to miss it. Get complete details at good-guys.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Skies are clear and sunny, setting us up for a beautiful day. Temperatures are going to rise back to the 80s this afternoon. Columbus hitting 85. We'll stay nice and warm with low humidity today, even warmer tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Madison Reich with your Doppler 10 forecast on The Fan.
Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Might be a little drunk, but it's a holiday weekend, so I think that's all good. Ryan Baker in for Eric Reeser. Tim May, he is in for Tyvis Powell. Jacob Reimer here, like always. Glad to have you along for Fan Sports Saturday. Interesting talk last segment about the recruiting and Oregon stealing 3 guys this week and Ohio State missing out on Justin Hill and all of that. But Ohio State still bringing the players in with the number 1 recruiting class in the 2025 as of right now. Talking about guys, though, that we haven't seen production from on the field yet. One guy that we have seen production from is Emeka Egbuka. And unfortunately for him, last year, injuries kind of derailed his season a little bit. And I think some people, not people around here, but I think some people forget just how good this guy was 2 years ago. I mean, his production was on par and right there with what Marvin Harrison Jr. did. Emeka had 74 catches. Marv had 77. I don't have the yardage exactly, but I think Marv had like 1,241 yards. Emeka had like 1,151. Yeah. Marv had 14 touchdowns. Emeka had 10 touchdowns. So Emeka, and we know Emeka Egbuka is a freak of an athlete. He got some high praise this week. This was on the NFL Stock Exchange, which is a pro football focused podcast done by Trevor Sikkema and Connor Rogers. They were ranking their top 15 wide receivers who could be in the 2025 draft. Both of them had Emeka Egbuka in their top 5. Rogers said, I look at some of his traits and I see Keenan Allen. This guy can change gears through his routes to create space and separation. He's a route technician. He says a lot of people will think Jackson Smith and Jigba, but I think he's a better athlete than JSN was in the vertical aspect of the game. Then Sikkema said he thinks he's a slightly bigger, slightly faster Amon-Ra St. Brown, and we know how good he has been the past couple years with the Detroit Lions. That's some big-time praise from these guys for Emeka.
Yeah, and, you know, all they're trying to do is to give the average fan some type of reference of what this young man brings to the table. You know, my favorite thing about Emeka Egbuka is he is incredibly intelligent. I mean, he is a really smart young man on top of everything else, much like Marvin, much like Jackson Smith and Jigba. And that plays such a role in the cat and mouse game that is playing wide receiver at the highest level in college football and definitely in the NFL. You know, you may have all the measurables et cetera. But can you get open? Can you outthink your opponent? Can you get him leaning one way and go the other, et cetera? And that's really what he brings to the table. And then, of course, we didn't get to talk to him immediately after the spring game, but that ridiculous catch he had
great catch.
was because going into the spring game, the big talk was, man, can't wait to see Jeremiah Smith put on a show today. And who had the catch you definitely remembered over on the sideline, but it was Emeka Egbuka. Oh, yeah, by the way.
Remember me.
Remember me. And, he is such a leader in that room, too. It's like that's what they've really generated at Ohio State the last several years, is having these stalwart leaders who remain in a room after some of the other guys leave. And that's what he brings to the table, along with being just an incredible player. And that's not hyperbole. That's really Emeka Egbuka. On top of everything else, he is a great receiver.
It's funny you talked about his intelligence, because they talked about that as well. They said he is a high IQ player and knows how to attack all kinds of leverages and find space in between the zones. And that's what you just talked about, that cat and mouse game of playing a wide receiver. This is a guy that is just 1,042 yards away from becoming Ohio State's all-time leading receiver. I think that's very feasible for him to get this year, and if he does get that, he's going to go a lot higher in the draft than Matt Miller of ESPN, who just released his first mock draft for the 2025 season. He has Emeka going number 30 to the Detroit Lions, and if Emeka has a season like that, he's going to shoot up that draft board. He's going to be way higher than that.
And you know this. I mean, when you say something like that, just because you have the numbers doesn't mean you have the game. I mean, that's, because you can end up in the right place, right time and get big-time numbers, but do you have the game that translates to the next level? I think he definitely does have that game. And like I said, it goes back to his smarts, because he's developed some, he came in with some things, but has developed a lot of good things under Brian Hartline. And then, of course, the passing game approach of the Ryan Day offense and everything that means. And now you got Chip Kelly pulling the strings. But he definitely has that capability of going up the draft chart, just showing not just how he can catch the ball, but the way he can get wide open at times. And that's what stands out about him the most. And the great thing about an Ohio State season, number one, if he doesn't become the all-time leading receiver yardage-wise, they plan on playing minimum 16 games this year. That's not an average of very many yards per game. So he's going to have the actual physical opportunities and then some to get to that point. But the other thing is that he's going to have some showcase games against Iowa, against Oregon, at Penn State, and then, of course, against Michigan, possibly in the Big Ten championship game possibly again against Oregon, and then in a probable at least one round of the college football playoff, wherever Ohio State ends up in that. So you're going to have the showcase games to showcase yourself against other great or good defensive players. And that's what the NFL scouts pay attention to the most. How do you do against a high-level defense with high-level players?
The one thing we do know is Emeka Egbuka is a heck of an athlete and a pretty good baseball player, too. He won the home run derby last year at the Cardell Jones Celebrity Softball Game, and the Schmitz Cardell Jones Celebrity Softball Game is coming. It's almost here. Why picnic when you can Schmitnick? It's presented by Monogram Homes. It's going down at Huntington Park on Saturday, July 20th, 6:30 p.m. start. The current Ohio State football players, which are led by Captain Emeka Egbuka, take on the former players led by Cardell Jones. Some of the former players that will be out there: Tyvis Powell, DeVere Posey, James Laurinaitis, Boom Heron. Current players: Emeka, Jack Sawyer, Will Howard, Devin Brown, JT Tuimoloau.
Murderers Row, I think is what they're going to call that lineup. You ain't kidding.
Someone I'm excited to see in this, Tim. Lincoln Keenholz. We know what a great baseball player he was in high school. Tickets, they're just $10, and they are available right now at BuckeyeCruise.com. Hey, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they've been busy recently. They have a new coach. Donovan Mitchell has re-signed, so things are looking good for them. We'll talk to the radio play-by-play voice of the Cavaliers, Tim Alcorn, next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Bo Bishop is a media legend. We have no idea where the other guys came from. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
We always come through for you when you need us to. That's ECO's promise to you. And for AC repair and installation, that means today, not tomorrow. If you have an air condition breakdown, we'll get a tech out to your home today. Or we'll give you a year's EcoFi Advantage membership for free. And make no mistake, we're a repair, not replace company. Our techs are trained to give you all your repair options. Sometimes, though, it just makes more financial sense to replace. And that's where we really come through for you when you need us to. Because we'll replace your AC system same day. No sleeping overnight in a hot, humid house. Or we'll take $1,500 off the cost of your new system and provide you with portable AC units for your bedroom. That's what coming through for you when you need us to means. So if you need AC repair, call ECO for same-day service. We'll get your home cool again. We'll make it happen today.
At geteco.com.
Score a goal with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the checking account that rewards you for supporting the crew. Learn more at pathwayscu.com. Pathways Financial Credit Union, official credit union of the Columbus Crew, federally insured by NCUA.
When life is on hold due to a painful injury or condition, every day counts. Start the path to recovery now with Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts. Start with orthopedic1.com.
At United Dairy Farmers, peach is our most popular ice cream. Although it's only here for a short time, we sell more of it than any other flavor. And once you taste it, you'll know why it wins the popularity contest. We make it from scratch by mixing in the juice from our hand-selected peaches and big chunks of fruit. That's what gives it that unique peachier flavor. And that might also explain why peach season at UDF doesn't last long. UDF Peach Ice Cream, made for you.
Sunday is the time for brunching with your favorite people. And when they don't invite you, listen to us instead. Fan Sports Sunday with Tito and Devere Posey.
Sunday morning starting at 11.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
There's a place where mishaps don't mean missing out. Welcome to AAA's The Plus Side, where a AAA Plus membership means that an empty gas tank won't keep you from a full day. Where a flat tire doesn't have to deflate your mood. Where being locked out doesn't mean you'll be out of luck for long. And where a dead battery can't stop you from being the life of the party.
Looks like you're all set here. Have a good rest of the day.
Because on the plus side, roadside mishaps don't have to ruin your day. With AAA Plus, you're covered with the gold standard in roadside assistance, whenever and wherever you need it. Tire changes, battery swaps, and emergency fuel are just a tap, click, or call away. AAA gets to you faster, and if you need a tow, we'll take you further, anywhere within 100 miles. Become a AAA Plus member today and experience the peace of mind that comes when you live on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply. Service is only available from AAA and CAA in North America.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for over 30,000 mouthwash for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Be sure to keep thirst-quenching drinks on hand. Right now, Powerade or Body Armor Super Drinks are only 79 cents each with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You can use your phone at a doctor's office. You can use your phone at a football game. You can even use your phone at an amusement park. But one place you should never use your phone is behind the wheel. Fines now start at $150. So remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
Incredible lease deals for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Now through July 6th, lease a 2024 Civic LX for $249 a month, or a 24 Accord LX for $259 a month, even a CRV front-wheel drive for $279 a month. 36-month lease, payments plus tax, title, document fees, and $29.99 due at signing. 10,000 miles a year, includes Honda loyalty with approved credit. From the Honda dealership in Central Ohio, Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Parkway, just south of 270.
Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Yes, you are, and we're glad to have you along on this Fan Sports Saturday. Ryan Baker filling in for Eric Reeser. Tim May in for Tyvis Powell. Jacob Reimer here as well. A lot has been going on for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and when we talk Cavs, we talk to the radio play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He is Tim Alcorn, joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Tim, since we last talked to you, the Cavs have had an NBA draft. They've hired a new coach, and Donovan Mitchell has re-signed. It has been a busy time for the Cavaliers, hasn't it?
Yeah, we knew going into the offseason, Ryan, that there was going to be a lot going on. And, of course, it started with the dismissal of J.B. Bickerstaff and then the lengthy process to hire Kenny Atkinson. I'm sure we'll talk about Kenny Atkinson. And then you alluded to the drafting of Jalen Tyson out of Cal, a young man that certainly has a high upside. And then, as you said, the Donovan news. So a lot going on. We knew it was going to be a big off season. I'm sure there's more to come, but the Cavs certainly have made some headlines.
Yeah, Tim, this is Tim May. Us two Tims, we got to get together, Tim A and Tim May. But I wanted to ask you, the Donovan Mitchell thing, that sometimes you just got to, like, bite the bullet and understand this guy could be your cornerstone, right, or your acorn where things grow or things are attracted to, right? I mean, and I thought it was pretty bold for them to get that situation cleared up. And what do you see from that? Do you see just good things over the next couple of years because they do have their cornerstone player in the fold?
Well, you need to go back to the actual trade for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
That was a franchise-altering moment where the Cavs really pushed their chips in and said, "This is the guy that can take us to the next level." And of course, as soon as the deal was made, the naysayers out there were saying he's not going to stay around for long. Right. So that obviously to be able to get him to commit long term to this franchise, that is huge. That's the guy. And so, yeah, that becomes a big win for the team. But listen, Donovan Mitchell can't do it all on his own. And so a guy like Kenny Atkinson is brought in to take this team to the next level. And player development is really his strong suit. So with younger players like Darius Garland, like Evan Mobley, those are the guys that are going to really need to up their game, per se, to get the Cavs into that elite level, like the Boston Celtics and other teams in the Eastern Conference. And so this is a team that it's on the right trajectory, but Kenny Atkinson is being charged with taking them to that next level. But circling back, Donovan Mitchell certainly will be the cornerstone as far as this franchise is concerned and the roster is concerned.
Tim, we'll talk some more about Kenny Atkinson in a moment, but there was some rumblings out there that possibly Donovan Mitchell had went to management and said that he would not re-sign if J.B. Bickerstaff was still the coach. Do you think there's any truth to those rumors?
Certainly not that I'm aware of. I'm around the team every day. I never saw anything during the course of a practice or a shoot-around or even in game that would lead itself to believe there's friction there. So, no, I don't think that was the case. I just think, as Kobe Altman, Cavs president, said at his end-of-the-year press conference, which included the announcement of JB not being brought back, I just think he wanted a different set of eyes to look at this roster and see what he could do and perhaps a different voice in that locker room. But I don't think it was one player or even multiple players that said we need a change at the head coaching spot. I don't think that was the case.
Yeah, what impresses you about Kenny Atkinson? You just touched on the player development aspect of things and stuff, but what do you think management wants most from him? Obviously to win the NBA championship, but what do they want that Bickerstaff wasn't able to deliver, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, I don't think it was a move made towards negativity about JB. I don't think anybody in that organization has anything negative to say about JB Bickerstaff, nor should they. I mean, he inherited a mess.
Yeah.
And then like he is now in Detroit. And I think that's what Detroit saw as far as JB is concerned, to get a team out of a real ugly situation and build them into a contender. And JB did that. So, but circling back to Kenny Atkinson, first of all, he's got a great resume. Worked under Mike Budenholzer down in Atlanta, and of course Budenholzer not with the Hawks, with the Bucks, but became a championship coach. Went to Brooklyn, and very similar to what JB did here in Cleveland, inherited an awful situation and built them into a contending basketball team and developed young players like Garris LeVert and Jared Allen, but also the likes of a Joe Harris and a guy like Brook Lopez. So, and then once Durant and Irving and Harden were brought in, that just didn't mesh with Kenny. So stepped back and went back to the assistant's chair. But, well, you talk about two great coaches to be assistants under in Ty Lue, and then the last 3 years in Steve Kerr. So he admitted during his press conference to be introduced as the head coach of the Cavaliers. He learned so much from Ty Lue and Steve Kerr, and I think that's the stamp of a guy that knows. Listen, I still have things to learn. Did a nice job in Brooklyn, but now he comes to Cleveland with the head coaching experience, but also having picked up a lot in that assistant coach's chair the last few years. So innovative offensively. If you go back and look at Brooklyn, his time there, they were at or near the top of the league all 4 years he was head coach, as far as pace, as far as three-ball shooting. So the Cavs are going to have a new look offensively. And again, he's also known as a player development guy. I reached out to people that I knew in the Golden State organization, people with Brooklyn when he was there, to say, tell me about this guy. And number one, they raved about him. And number two, player development. He will take guys to that next level. And so I think that's what he's being charged with here. And to really hone in on it, specifically Evan Mobley. He's going to be the key to the Cavaliers getting to the next level. I know we talked about Donovan earlier, and don't get me wrong, but it's going to be Evan Mobley's progression that'll take the Cavaliers to that Eastern Conference and even NBA final level.
Speaking to the play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers radio network, Tim Alcorn, on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. It seems like one thing the Cavs may be looking at free agency is a 3-and-D type wing, small forward player. A couple of the names that you're hearing are Miles Bridges, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith. What do you think, Tim, that the Cavaliers need to address here in free agency, and do you like any of those names?
Well, I do think another wing player would certainly be advantageous to this roster. Now, the issue is that is the key player on every roster now, the way that the NBA is structured. It's kind of analogous to the franchise quarterback in football. Everybody's looking for that 3-and-D wing guy. And when you look at how Boston won the NBA championship, it all centered around Tatum and Brown, those guys that can play on the wing and can knock down threes and can be elite defensively. So everybody in the NBA is looking for that. Whether it's one of the guys you mentioned or the Cavs go in another direction, whether it's a sign and trade or whatever the case may be, I do think Kobe Altman and general manager Mike Gansey, I don't think they're done. I think the core part of this roster is set, but they are relentless. They really are. I mean, they are nonstop insofar as trying to improve this roster. And when you look at the likes of Boston and Philly now with Paul George, and Orlando pushed us to 7 games, a team on the rise. That Eastern Conference, Mikal Bridges now a New York Knick. These are teams that the Cavaliers are going to have to compete with. So they realize they're going to have to continue that quest to get better, and I don't think that'll stop during this offseason. I think Kenny right now is over in France working with the French team, but I'm sure he and Kobe and Mike Gansey, who I alluded to, they're going to do a deep dive to say who's out there and how can we get better.
Hey, real quickie, Tim, does Jameson Battle, former Ohio State sharpshooter. Does he have a shot, you think? I think he worked out for the Cavs recently and stuff, but for Ohio State fans, do you think Battle has a shot, so to speak?
Well, I mean, again, the NBA has become a three-ball league.
Right.
As you said, a sharpshooter. I'm really intrigued by Kenny Atkinson's track record in Brooklyn with bringing guys on to shoot three balls.
Yeah.
When he was in Brooklyn, that's when Brook Lopez became a three-ball guy. I mean, he was a banger. He was a center. Joe Harris became one of the top three-ball guys in the league when he was with Brooklyn because Kenny Atkinson looked at him and worked with him. So, sure, I would think Battle will get a look, whether it's with the Cavs or somebody else, because it's a three-ball league. The analytics tell you that, and if a guy can knock down shots, he's going to get a look somewhere.
He's a quality broadcaster and an even better human. He is Tim Alcorn of the Cleveland Cavaliers Radio Network. Tim, thanks so much for joining us on this holiday weekend. Enjoy what is left of it.
Well, guys, always good to talk to you down in Columbus. Ryan, I've got a son named Ryan, so that's a good thing. And Tim, well, you can't get better than that.
No, you can't.
Some of the best names in the business there.
There you go.
Thanks a lot, Tim.
My son Ryan, his middle name is Timothy. So there you go.
RT, baby.
Great to talk to you guys, and hopefully you had a great 4th of July weekend.
He is Tim Alcorn, again, the radio play-by-play voice on the Cleveland Cavaliers Radio Network, joining us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Ohio State President Ted Carter says that the Buckeyes plan on keeping all 36 sports in the new revenue-sharing model. Is that feasible? We will discuss next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte, each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per $1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our Central Ohio financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Pepsi, the official beverage of Grills Night Out. Summer grilling just got better with new Pepsi Lime and Pepsi Peach. Available for a limited time.
Dreaming of a wedding band as unique as your love story? Join us at Diamond Cellar's Wedding Weekend, July 26th and 27th. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. We've been helping you craft your love stories for over 77 years. And for one weekend only, we're offering 20% off custom designed wedding bands. We guarantee the best price and unparalleled quality. Let our expert jewelers bring your vision to life with a custom creation. The possibilities are endless. Come see us July 26th and 27th at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road.
Rothman and Ice.
I won't go to a football game if it's 45 degrees.
We do a broadcast at the tailgate when it's less than that.
Yeah, and guess what I do during the breaks? Just sit in the car with the heat on.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
Ready for an amazing deal? BreezeLine's fiber-powered internet, starting at $19.99 per month, offers the reliability you deserve and security you can trust. Whether you're streaming, gaming, or working from home, we've got all your needs covered with speeds up to 1 gig and our 2-year price lock guarantee. This deal gets even better with 2 free months of internet, free equipment, and free Wi-Fi your way to protect against cyber threats. Act now. Terms and conditions apply. Offer expires July 8th, 2024. Learn more at breezeline.com.
Hey, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Sale. Hello. Save up to 50% on outdoor furniture and indoor essentials and have your best summer.
Oh, how about storage for my inflatable flamingos?
We've got you covered. Let's turn your space into a summer haven with space for birds.
Awesome.
Visit us in store from June 12th to July 9th or at ikea-usa.com/midsummer. Offer valid dates may vary. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store and ikea-usa.com/midsummer for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
America's favorite car show returns to Columbus with a jam-packed weekend of cool cars, cool people, and good times. It's the Good Guys 26th Summit Racing National, and it's all happening July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center. Cruise on out with your family and friends and check out over 6,000 of the country's coolest classics on display. And don't miss Good Guys CPP Autocross Racing action, Nitro Thunderfest, a huge swap meet and vendor midway, live music, family fun, and so much more. It's Ohio's biggest hot rod and party of the summer, and it's all going down July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center. Get details at good-guys.com.
At AAA, it's our policy to look on the plus side, and AAA Plus members tend to take the same view. Take Martin. Last Monday, his coffee surprised him with an extra 10 degrees of Fahrenheit. It was just the jolt of energy he needed. Later, when he walked into a door, he was happy to provide entertainment for his coworkers.
I'm okay.
And when his car battery took early retirement, he knew expert roadside assistance was only a call away.
Hello, AAA.
Become a AAA Plus member and experience peace of mind on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
Want to know anything about the fans' contests, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
We firmly believe it's appropriate to tailgate before a youth soccer game. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
I'm sure we're not the only ones. I'm sure a lot of people were tailgating before youth soccer games on this Saturday. Thanks for joining us. However you're doing so, whether you're in your car, maybe listening on your app, or you're joining us over on YouTube. Regardless of the way, we appreciate you being here with us. Tim, college sports have changed a lot the past couple years, and that's not going to change anytime soon. The changing is going to continue.
The changing is going to continue to change. Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly. It's ever-changing.
The washing machine is going to keep running.
The whole revenue sharing is coming, and one of my worries in all of this with colleges paying players and athletes and all of that, one of my worries was the smaller sports, the ones that don't generate a lot of revenue or any revenue at all. One that I think of right off the top of the hand, because I've worked a lot of those games, is men's volleyball at Ohio State. There's no parking. There's no ticket. Anybody can just walk in the Cavaliers Center and watch a men's volleyball game. And the men's volleyball team has been pretty good here in the past decade. They've had a heck of a run, won some national championships in 17 and 18, and they've had some really good players. And I've always worried about those sports, how they would be affected in all of this. Are they going to go away? What's going to happen to those kids, that get scholarships that may not get them anymore if their sport goes away? Ted Carter joined the 11 Warriors guys this past week on their Real Pod Wednesdays. He was with Dan Hope and Andy Anders, and he talked about a lot of that. And this is what he had to say about Ohio State being self-sufficient and keeping 36 sports.
We made one big, bold statement, and that is we're going to maintain 36 Division I sports. As I've watched college landscape think about what it means to maintain these sports, it's important once you get them to do everything you can to hold on to them. You don't want to lose that. It's too important to the student athlete. So we've made a declarative statement that we're going to hold on to that. Now, having said that, we've also got to look at what generates revenue. So for us right now, it's football, men's basketball. On occasion, women's basketball can be a contributor there. And we've just got to make sure that we maintain, even with this revenue share model, that we can do everything that we can to be self-sufficient. This program has been self-sufficient, and we anticipate it will be self-sufficient going forward.
Tim, you obviously have been closer to this than I have, and you know a lot more about it than I do. But in this same podcast, he talked about the sports program had a $10 million deficit from last year. And he said they expected that because they only had 6 football home games. But it's hard in the same thing as you say you have a deficit, telling me it's hard for me to believe that you can keep all 36 sports moving forward.
Well, the revenue sharing aspect of things is going to throw a dent into it from the standpoint of $22 million is probably going to be, we'll see what it ends up being from the standpoint of going to the athletes at the revenue generating level. So, Gene Smith talked about this going out. Ross Bjork has talked about this, the new athletic director. They want to keep 36 sports, but keeping them on the level they're at now from a funding standpoint, that's probably not going to happen. So as Gene pointed out, and as a matter of fact, an interview I did with him, I think his last major interview before he left Ohio State at the end of the month was some of these sports aren't going to be in the university's mind. The university requirements or expectations aren't going to have the same expectations as men's football, men's basketball, women's basketball, and maybe some of the other ones that are going to still continue to enjoy, for one of another term, full funding. There's funding sports, and then there's full funding, meaning you're on the same level as the upper echelon or the elite across the country, whether it's men's volleyball, women's volleyball, golf, tennis, right on down the line. Are you getting the same share from the budget that you were getting, 2 years ago? 2 years from now, are you going to be? Some of these sports are going to have to take a cut from that aspect of things. And like you said, when they look at revenue, like a $10 million shortfall, that's going to be made up. You got to look at things over time, not necessarily a snapshot from one year to the next, because obviously they're playing 8 home games this year.
Yeah.
And it's going to be huge from that standpoint of revenue. So, but the bottom line is they're not going to be funding on the same level, which means the expectations, even though anybody who's going to be playing those sports for Ohio State are going to be trying to win national championships, et cetera, the expectations aren't going to be there from a do that or else kind of situation. And that's what's going to be interesting to see how that evolves over the next several years. And they all know that's the challenge. Ted Carter knows that's the challenge because forever, the NCAA and its member schools kicked the can down the road about revenue sharing when they should have already been incorporating that for years now, decades now, and now it's coming home to roost, and it's going to come home to roost in kind of a one fell swoop kind of situation. It'll be payments over time to a certain extent for some of the reparations they're going to be paying to some guys going back because of the recent court ruling, but they don't even know how it's going to pan out yet, because nobody even knows how Title IX is going to factor into all of this, and whether that $22 million, let's say they revenue share, whether 11 of it's got to go to football and maybe men's basketball, and 11 has to go to some women's sports. I mean, that hasn't been clarified yet, and so that there's a lot to be. There's a lot to go, a lot of water to go under the dam, as Earl Bruce used to say before you figure this out.
Unfortunately, whenever there's growth and progress in something, there's collateral damage somewhere else, and something gets affected negatively. Hopefully for Ohio State, it doesn't affect the tradition of these 36 sports and the non-revenue sports too much. I love a good list, and 24/7 put out a list last week of their top 50 dynamic playmaking duos of all time. There are some Buckeyes on there, but should there have been more? I think so. We'll talk about it next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
In a world without Mountain Dew, life would be pretty dull. So grab yourself a Mountain Dew and get that incomparable blast of neon citrus flavor. Hey, if you're not having an outrageously good time, you're not drinking Dew. Do the do.
Hey, Ohio! Make memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio State Fair, July 24th through August 4th. Experience the food, entertainment, animals, shopping, rides, and more. July 24th through August 4th. Tickets on sale at ohiostatefair.com.
The best of rivals, the best of two leagues meet again this summer. MLS versus Liga MX face off in the 2024 MLS All-Star, starting Sunday, July 21st. After a weekend of soccer celebrations, MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T will come to Lower.com Field on Tuesday, July 23rd, featuring MLS All-Stars versus Liga MX All-Stars as they show off the best of their skills. The two teams will match up once more at the 2024 MLS All-Star Game, presented by Target on Wednesday, July 24th. For more information on tickets and events, visit MLSsoccer.com/All-Star.
When life is on hold due to a painful injury or condition, every day counts. Start the path to recovery now with Central Ohio's most trusted team of orthopedic experts. Start with orthopedic1.com.
It's a summer savings extravaganza at Kemba Financial Credit Union. You pick how you want your money to grow. Choose a limited time 13-month certificate at up to 5.25% annual percentage yield to lock in your savings with a $500 minimum deposit, or enjoy access to your funds anytime with a money market at 4.75% APY intro rate until October 31st with a $5,000 minimum balance and a $1 million maximum. Visit Kemba.org for details. Restrictions apply. Advantage status required. Federally insured by NCUA.
You've heard my promise to you before, but I'll say it again. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians will always come through for you when you need us to. It doesn't matter if it's restoring cooling, heat, or plumbing. We'll get there when you need us and fix the situation right then and there. Unfortunately, though, there is one situation where we can't get your cooling or heat working again, and that's when the power goes down. If that happens, there's nothing we can do to restore comfort to your home at that time. What we can do is install a whole home backup generator ahead of time. That way your home will remain an oasis of cool comfort or warmth and light, Wi-Fi, and all the comforts of civilization. And since the point of a backup generator is to come through with power when you need it, we also provide full service and maintenance for your Eco installed generator. So you know your backup generator will be as reliable as Eco. Want that added reassurance for your home? Call us
at geteco.com.
Swimming is a great way to exercise and spend time with family and friends. Always swim with a buddy, keep an eye on children, and be prepared in an emergency if there is no lifeguard on duty. The next time you go to the pool, be water smart and know where the safety equipment is located. Complete the Ohio Department of Health Safety Equipment Scavenger Hunt and learn more about pool safety at odh.ohio.gov/swim. Have a safe swim.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. If you are retired or in the planning stages, we can help you maximize your income. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Jacob Reimer. Starting in baseball, the Guardians will look to bounce back today after dropping the first of three with San Francisco last night 4-2. They get things going against the Giants again today with Logan Allen on the mound for the Guardians. Kyle Harrison will throw for the Giants. First pitch from Cleveland is at 4:10. The Reds' 3-game win streak came to an end last night, losing to the Tigers 5-4. They will go again from Great American Ballpark today against Detroit. Hunter Green is on the bump for the Redlegs. First pitch from Cincinnati is at 4:10. The Columbus Crew are back in action as well. They get things kicked off against Toronto FC at Lower.com Field tonight at 7:30. And in the NBA, summer leagues get underway today, beginning in San Francisco with the California Classic Summer League, where Bronny James will make his NBA Summer League debut. He and Dalton Knecht for the Lakers will take on the Sacramento Kings with tip-off at 4:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shut up. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Final hour, Fan Sports Saturday. Ryan Baker, Tim May, glad to have you along. Sad news just coming down from the NFL here in the past 10 to 15 minutes. Vikings rookie cornerback Kyrie Jackson has passed away due to a car crash at just the age of 24. sounds like this is something that happened overnight, and the team has just announced this. So sad news there in the world of the NFL. Way too young.
Absolutely, man. That's horrible news. You can't really embellish whatever you just said, but wow, just when you got it going, man, you never know what's coming around the corner.
No, you don't. So, very, very sad there. The Vikings actually posting this on Twitter 11 minutes ago. We are devastated by the news of Kyrie Jackson's death following overnight car accident. Our thoughts are with Kyrie's family, friends, teammates, and coaches, as well as all of the victims of this tragic accident. So, tough news hearing that there in the world of the NFL. If anything comes out about that, we will let you know. Tim, I love a good list.
Okay.
And I think we found a good one this week. Brad Crawford.
A good one? You think you found a good one?
It's a good one in the fact that it gets us talking about it,
True that.
I guess. And Brad Crawford over at 24/7 Sports did this list. He did the top 50 dynamic playmaking duos of all times. Now, this could be anything. He has defenders in this list as well. He has 2 running backs. He has 2 wide receivers. He has wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, quarterback. So he has all of it. Real quick, we're going to go through the top 10, and then I'll let you know the top 10, and then we'll do the Buckeyes that have made this list, and then we will talk about some other lists or some other duos that we think maybe should have been in this or higher, or Buckeyes that should be on the list. At number 10, he has Mac Jones and Devontae Smith of Alabama. Number 9, Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. I think that one is a pretty good combo. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. It was 2 pretty good years from those 2. Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas. I don't know if anybody could argue that one, except maybe argue it could have been higher. Chad Pennington and Randy Moss at number 6. God, they were so fun together at Marshall. Ronnie Brown and Cadillac Williams, both dynamic running backs at Auburn. Darren McFadden and Felix Jones. They were at Arkansas. Didn't they have Peyton Hillis, too, at the same time in that backfield?
Yeah.
Pat White and Steve Slayton from West Virginia at number 3. Tim Tebow and Percy Harvin at number 2. And then his number 1, and this is a good one, Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush of USC. For the Buckeyes, at number 22, he has A.J. Hawk and Bobby Carpenter. Number 27, Nick Bosa and Chase Young. So kind of a surprise, too. Defensive groupings there are the top ones for Ohio State. And then at number 46, he has Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. How fun was it watching those 2? So I go over this list, and immediately one pair for Ohio State came to my mind.
What was it?
And that is Troy Smith and Ted Ginn.
Bingo.
I mean, does it get any more dynamic than the Heisman Trophy winner and Ted Ginn, who affected every aspect of the game when he had the football in his hands?
Absolutely. The problem there was, I did a story on this one time after Ted Ginn was done, was how few times he actually touched the ball from the line of scrimmage. I thought he was underutilized at Ohio State during that time. I've even told Coach Tressel that, and he goes, "That's interesting." But I think he averaged just over 4 touches a game from from plays from the line of scrimmage, which I think when you got a great player like that, you got to use him as more than just a decoy,
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, I'm thinking about, like you and I were talking about during the break as we were getting ready for this, as we were, quote, prepping for this, Archie Griffin and Pete Johnson, where's that dynamic duo listed?
Yeah.
I mean, Archie Griffin got him down there, and then Pete Johnson scored the touchdowns. And in the mid-'70s for the Buckeyes. And I just, in the time I've been covering this team, for example, Jim Carsados and Chris Carter back in 85 and definitely in 86. I mean, what a duo. We talked about, at one point, Scotty Graham and Carlos Snow. You kind of had to be there to enjoy that because those weren't the greatest years in Ohio State football history. But I'm thinking about, if you really want to mix up a dynamic duo, how about Orlando Pace at left tackle and Eddie George at running back in 1995, the best offensive lineman I've ever seen in college football. And then Eddie George won the Heisman Trophy that year. That was a pretty good duo. Just ask Notre Dame. And in the modern era, 2014 and 15, J.T. Barrett and Ezekiel Elliott, just what they brought to the fore there, from J.T. Barrett being a running and throwing threat, and Zeke Elliott, in 2014, if you had voted on the Heisman after the playoffs, and Ohio State won the national championship that year, beating Alabama and Oregon back-to-back, he would have won the Heisman Trophy hands down. His greatest games were when it really mattered. And, you can go ad nauseum on some other dynamic duos at Ohio State that aren't even on this list. It's kind of, but those just jump out at me for examples.
With a lot of these lists,
I mean, C.J. Stroud and Jackson Smith and Jigba in one game alone, the Rose Bowl should have been somewhere in the top 50 of this.
CJ and Marv, even, you can, and a lot of these lists, they're plagued with recency bias a lot of times because
Big time.
There's a lot of old school. I love that
They're also plagued with somebody trying to be different with his list.
For sure. I love that you mentioned Eddie George and Orlando Pace, and I can't remember what show it was here on The Fan earlier this week, talking about OSU football players combining their college career and their NFL career together, who were the best. And I'm not sure there's two better ever than those two as far as NFL production on the field at Ohio State. Orlando Pace and Eddie George are the first two that come to mind for that.
Well, they would be definitely up there on the list. Chris Carter had obviously he had to leave his, was going to be his senior year. I think I told you, I've got him on my podcast this week, the Tim May Show, and we're just talking about the receivers and a lot of other things. We even talk about that moment in history, but he had to leave because of the agent situation in 87, or he was primed for a great year, with Tom Tupa, et cetera, on that team. But yeah, I mean, it's Eddie George never won a national championship, never won a Super Bowl, although they came close that one year with the Titans. But you're right, Orlando Pace is the best, like I said, tackle I've ever seen, and won a Super Bowl. Good for him. Is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Good for him. So yeah, I mean, how they're not on this list? If you're going to get obtuse and have defensive combos as much as offensive combos, maybe the best left tackle and a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, you can't really get much better than that.
We wouldn't have the term pancake block if it wasn't for Orlando Pace.
I think Steve Snap and company came up with the late great SID for Ohio State, but and that's when I think I still have that magnet, that refrigerator magnet somewhere in my house, the pancake block. But you're exactly right.
Jacob, you are younger than us. Who, in your mind, like when you hear that list or you think of dynamic duos at Ohio State, what's the first thing that pops into your head?
I think that the JT and Ezekiel one was a very good one, but I was also going to throw out Justin Fields and J.K. Dobbins and their time together. Good. And I think you can make a case if Ohio State beats Clemson in the Fiesta Bowl, where Trevor Lawrence and Etienne are out on this list, you could eventually put Justin Fields and J.K. Dobbins right there as well.
Yeah, if Ohio State hadn't been robbed of that previous, of that game, if they hadn't been robbed with that ridiculous reversal call on that interception, which was ruled not a reception. You remember that? I mean, T. Higgins, et cetera, and Jeffrey Okudah. But you're exactly right. I mean, maybe Justin Fields and J.K. Dobbins need to be on it anyway.
Jacob, I'll ask you first, then I'll ask you, Tim. On this year's Buckeye team for this year, who is a dynamic duo you think of?
Looking at this list and thinking of this roster, they have Nick Chubb and Sony Michel, and it gives me high hopes for Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson.
I'll tell you what,
into this year.
I agree with that. I like Davison Igbinosun and Denzel Burke. I mean, these are two big-time corners. And, we already talked about Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau, who can etch their name in history if things go correctly here. But, dude, once you start down this, let's just make a top 50 Ohio State guys.
Yeah, I love that you went defense there, because the first thing I thought of, and you kind of think right away, Travion and Quinshon. The one I thought of was Denzel Burke and Caleb Downs.
Yeah, well,
because they're going to be dynamic, I think, in that secondary.
When you have two potentially great corners on a team, man, you're going places. And you're right. You might look at it as Caleb Downs and Lathan Ransom.
You could as well.
The way things develop.
Real quick, he has at number 16 on this list, J.J. McCarthy and Blake Corum. What do you think about that?
Here's what you can argue with. Three straight Big Ten championships, and finally a national championship on a team that really dominated when it had to dominate games. And I'm saying that, you know, everybody keeps acting like Michigan drilled Alabama all day. They didn't drill Alabama all day. They drilled Alabama when it mattered, which was at the end of the game. And but you can't argue, you know, who cares what kind of pros guys end up being in college football? I mean, look at Stetson Bennett. You know what, you could have a dynamic duo that mixes mediums. You could have Stetson Bennett and Jalen Carter, you know, from Georgia.
Yeah.
To when it mattered most, these guys made plays. So there's all kinds of ways you can go with something like this.
The one thing I thought of with the Michigan is maybe that's a little too high. But like you said, those guys made big plays in big games. And
what have you done for me lately?
And J.J. McCarthy, maybe he didn't have flashy, dynamic plays, but just watching him against Ohio State the past couple of years, he used his legs to keep plays alive and make plays downfield,
and
which was huge.
Number two, he was, as a passer, he was pretty clutch when a play needed to be made, at least from what I witnessed, especially against Ohio State the last 3 years and in the playoffs last year when they went to the championship. So, you know, what more can you say about a college player than that?
It's interesting, Travis chiming in over on YouTube. He said, what about Eddie and Terry, the Heisman and the Biletnikoff winner? And then he had another one with Jeremy Shockey and Kellen Winslow Jr., two great tight ends over at Miami. So those are some good ones. Keep them coming. If you're watching on YouTube, hit us up on the YouTube chat or as always Twitter.
I was trying to be a little obtuse with mine, though, having an offensive lineman and a running back. You know?
That's a good one, though. I mean, I don't know if it gets any better than that. The NFL season, it is just around the corner. Jacob Reimer, he takes over the show next and gives us some NFL hot takes. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic, Hidden Valley Ranch, or new smoky barbecue. White Castle, follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Ready for an amazing deal? BreezeLine's fiber-powered internet, starting at $19.99 per month, offers the reliability you deserve and security you can trust. Whether you're streaming, gaming, or working from home, we've got all your needs covered with speeds up to 1 gig and our 2-year price lock guarantee. This deal gets even better with 2 free months of internet, free equipment, and free Wi-Fi your way to protect against cyber threats. Act now. Terms and conditions apply. Offer expires July 8th, 2024. Learn more at breezeline.com.
Life. It's full of strange twists and unexpected surprises. But at AAA, it's always been our policy to look on the plus side. And our AAA Plus members tend to take the same view. Take Martin, for example. Last Monday, his morning coffee surprised him with an extra 10 degrees of Fahrenheit. Ouch! It was just the jolt of energy he needed to start the day. Later, when his shirt was targeted by the mustard on his burger, he became a proud trendsetter.
Martin, looking good.
And when he walked face first into a sparkling glass door, he was happy to provide some much-needed entertainment for his coworkers.
I'm okay.
And of course, when his car battery took early retirement, Martin felt no resentment. He knew there was a plus side. AAA's expert roadside assistance was only a call away.
Hello, AAA. Are you in a safe location?
While we can't all be like Martin, we can become a AAA Plus member and experience the peace of mind that comes with living on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our Central Ohio financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
The best of 2 leagues meet again this summer. Catch the stars of MLS and Liga MX as they show off their skills at the 2024 MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T. Tuesday, July 23rd at Lower.com Field. Tickets start at $25. Get your tickets now on Ticketmaster.
Common Man and T-Bone.
3093.
None 3.
Sister Jean.
That's Sister Jean's line.
None.
Right there. 3093.
Stupid.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Hey, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Sale. Hello. Save up to 50% on outdoor furniture and indoor essentials and have your best summer.
Oh, Oh, how about storage for my inflatable flamingos?
We've got you covered. Let's turn your space into a summer haven with space for birds.
Awesome.
Visit us in store from June 12th to July 9th or at ikea-usa.com/midsummer. Offer valid dates may vary. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store and ikea-usa.com/midsummer for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
Get an 11% rebate at Menards. Rust-Oleum Stops Rust Custom 5-in-1 Spray Paint lets you choose from 5 spray patterns with a twist of the dial. It protects indoor and outdoor metal and wood projects for long-lasting results and is available in more than 40 colors. Get started on your painting project at Menards, #1 in customer satisfaction among home improvement retailers according to J.D. Power. For more information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Mark your calendars for Diamond Seller's Wedding Weekend, July 26th and 27th. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Seller. Wedding Weekend is back with unbeatable offers you won't want to miss. Join us for buy one, get one half off wedding bands, 20% off diamond anniversary bands, and special offers on diamond engagement rings. We've had the guaranteed best price and an unmatched selection for over 77 years. Choose a jeweler you can trust and come see us July 26th and 27th at Diamond Seller on Sawmill Road.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Skies are looking really good. We had a lot of sunshine out there today. Your highs back to the mid-80s. Columbus hitting 85 with low humidity, making it nice and comfortable. Highs tomorrow get even warmer. I'm meteorologist Madison Reich with your Dopplerton forecast on The Fan.
Instead of annoying national people talking to you this weekend, we've opted for annoying local people. This is Fan Sports Saturday.
Welcome back in, Fan Sports Saturday. No Eric Reeser or Tyvis Powell, but you've got Ryan Baker and you've got Tim May hanging out with you. Tim May.
What's it all about, man?
He's itching. He's ready to head up to Mid-Ohio and get some Indy Car racing in.
I definitely am. I mean, I enjoy IndyCar racing. I no longer apologize to anybody about that. You know, some people enjoy different things, skittleball, whatever. But I enjoy IndyCar racing. As I like to say, during my heyday at the Columbus Dispatch, I covered basically IndyCar racing, football, and boxing. 2 sports where they wear a helmet and 1 where they should. So I stand by that. Enjoyed it all, and still enjoying it.
Someone chiming in on Twitter saying that it's packed up there right now.
Oh, yeah.
So.
They draw a crowd, baby. You know what? And that's where you give IndyCar racing credit, is when you have like 40 or 50,000, maybe more than that at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. If you've ever been there, those are people who want to be there because it's kind of tough getting in and tough getting out when the big crowds happen. But you know, there are great places you can sit and watch these cars doing their best thing, which is cornering.
We'll talk to Graham Rahal coming up here in the next segment about some of the things going on up at Mid-Ohio this weekend. Everybody loves the NFL, though, and our man Jacob Reimer has cooked up some NFL hot takes for us. Jacob, before you start giving us the hot takes, see if you can find somewhere over there some NFL music we can play underneath us here while we go through some of these hot takes. I should have had you ready for that in the break, but it just came to my mind here. But I know you've been working hard cooking up some of these hot takes for us to see what we think of them here on this Saturday as we get ready for the NFL season.
So, first one I have here for you guys. Denver is going to be the first team to go winless in the 18-week era.
We've only had, a couple of winless NFL teams in the history of the NFL, and those were in 16-game seasons. I just don't think there's any team this year bad enough to go 0-18, and I definitely don't think that the Denver Broncos, I don't think they're very good, but I don't think they're the worst team in the NFL. So I'm going to have to say no. I don't think that they go winless this year.
I agree 100%. Matter of fact, I think they win at least 3 games, the way I look at it, because strange things happen in NFL games sometimes. And, the fact that they could go winless. I mean, it reminds me of John McKay, with the original Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when things were going really poorly. And he was asked in a press conference one time, what do you think of your team's execution? And he said, I'm for it. But, every team has got some pretty good players, and eventually they will put a few games together. The Denver Broncos will. But, boy, on paper, I can see where people might be leaning that way.
Good job with the music there on the fly, Jacob. What do you got next?
So the next one, the MVP is going to go to Josh Allen or Jared Goff.
That's funny because I think the MVP is going to go to either C.J. Stroud or Patrick Mahomes again. But that's where I come down on that, so I don't see that at all.
I'll tell you what, I don't see this with Josh Allen at all. I could get there with Jared Goff, though. I could see this. I think the Lions are going to have a good year. I kind of think they're going to be the representative of the NFC in the Super Bowl this year. And if that is the case, Jared Goff will be there in consideration. I actually think, and I hate this as a Browns fan, I actually think Joe Burrow wins the MVP this year if he has a healthy season. But I can get there with Jared Goff.
I know you can, man. I'm just saying what I'm thinking. And there's just a little bit of thing they're missing that I think Mahomes and C.J. Stroud bring to the fore, which is just dynamism.
That is true.
Next one I have, J.J. McCarthy will be the bust of the 24 class.
I don't think this is the case. I guess it kind of determines what you think bust is. Like, do we think he's going to come in and be a Hall of Famer or lead the Vikings to the Super Bowl?
Oh, you missed a great line there. You're going to say, do you think he's going to be an eventual bust in the Hall of Fame?
That could be. I think J.J. McCarthy, obviously we hate him here in Columbus, but I think he's going to be okay in the NFL. I think he's going to be a starter for like 10 years and be a middle-of-the-road NFL quarterback. I think of all the quarterbacks in this year's draft, outside of Michael Penix, who I love and I think is going to be a star, I think JJ was the next best. So I don't think he's going to be a bust.
And plus, he did some things that impressed scouts in his workouts, obviously, because he really rose up the draft list as the not just as the year went on, but as the postseason and the evaluation period went. So I think a question about him was, does he have just the physical overall strength, for one of another way of putting it, to throw 30, 35, 40 times a game and still be on his game? He was really good, like, as I mentioned earlier, on clutch passes when they needed him in college football. But that'll be the telltale sign for him. But I don't see him as being a bust. It'll depend on how early he gets in and how beat up he gets before he really gets to really play football.
And hopefully the Vikings are smart and they don't rely on him to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game all the time. But if you use him to throw maybe 25 to 30 times a game, I think that better suits him and you're better off.
They also said that Zach Wilson, scouts loved him, and we see how he's paying off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, somebody loves all of them, right?
they drafted him.
The Dolphins are going to have a down year this year.
I like their coach. I like a lot of things about the Dolphins. I think he's a clever dude. I think they know how to use personnel. We'll see. What is a down year for the Dolphins?
And I guess that's my question here is, do I think the Dolphins are going to be as good as they were last year? No, I don't, because I don't know if they play good enough defense, and how is Tua going to hold up here? So I don't think they're going to be as good, but they still are in a terrible division to me. Like, I don't buy the Jets hype, and the Patriots are going to be really bad. So down year as in worse than last year, yeah, but I don't think it's going to be like a 7-9 season, 6-10 for them.
And why would we even obsess about the Dolphins anyway?
Good point.
The final four of the playoffs will be Philly, Detroit in the NFC, and Houston and Buffalo in the AFC.
I'll tell you what, that Philly and Detroit, I know Philly had a down year last year for them coming off of the Super Bowl. They really struggled down the stretch. I think you could talk me into Philly and Detroit. Obviously, I've said I think Detroit wins the NFC this year. No way is it Houston and Buffalo, though, to me. I still think it's probably Cincinnati and Patrick Mahomes as the final two. But again, I guess that depends on how the bracket plays out.
If Joe Burrow stays upright, could be interesting. I think I've already played my hand there. I think definitely, it's not the right word there. I think Houston and KC could meet to get to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I just got that feeling about it. And I think Houston has again helped itself, from a personnel standpoint. And so I see that more than I see Houston and Buffalo. Something missing there in Buffalo might be the fact it's Buffalo.
Jacob, thanks for cooking up those NFL hot takes there for us as we head towards the NFL season. We mentioned the Honda Indy 200 is happening at Mid-Ohio this weekend. The 41st time Indy Car has brought their race and series to Mid-Ohio. Columbus's own Graham Rahal joins us next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
News, opinions, and insight, all before breakfast. Rise and shine with Morning Juice.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Great coaching can make all the difference, especially when it comes to your money. At Right Pack Credit Union, our financial coaches are on your team. We'll help you create a winning game plan that's customized for your unique needs, so you can make the most of your hard-earned money and live the life you want to live. Best of all, Right Pack Credit Union serves all of Central Ohio, so getting in the game is easy. Let's win together. Stop by one of our Central Ohio member centers to get started today. Equal housing opportunity, insured by NCUA.
With surgery and drugs being the main options to treat chronic joint pain, that left orthopedic surgeons like Dr. Ray Tessner thinking,
geez, wouldn't it be nice if we can have another form of treatment that eliminates some of the downside and has a bigger upside as we learn more about it?
And then he found it. Regenerative medicine, an exciting, fast-growing approach to dealing with pain using healing agents from your own body.
Well, it's using the miracle benefits of the human body to help encourage healing.
Today, you'll find Dr. Tessner at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving patients lasting relief from joint pain in their knees, hips, shoulders, and back.
It's one of the best management tools that has come around in a long time.
Finally, options other than surgery and steroids. All natural regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. Learn more. Call today for your free consultation.
Go to QCkinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Oh no, this storm really did a number on my roof.
You need to get that fixed before it gets worse.
I know, but finding a good roofing company is like finding a needle in a haystack.
Actually, there's only one good roofing company you need to know. Nitro Roofing, family owned, specializing in residential roofing, and they finish the job quickly without cutting corners.
Wow, sounds like they're the real deal.
Absolutely. Call Nitro Roofing today. Use code TheFan10 for 10% off. Call 614-714-5693 or visit nitroroofing.com.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic, Hidden Valley Ranch, or new smoky barbecue. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Welcome to the plus side, where a AAA Plus membership means that an empty gas tank won't keep you from a full day, and where a dead battery can't stop you from being the life of the party. Because on the plus side, roadside mishaps don't have to ruin your day. With AAA Plus, tire changes, battery swaps, and emergency fuel are just a tap away. AAA gets to you faster, and if you need a tow, we'll take you further. Become a member today and experience peace of mind on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save. With a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte. Each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorrento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. 1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
Score a goal with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the checking account that rewards you for supporting the crew. Learn more at pathwayscu.com. Pathways Financial Credit Union, official credit union of the Columbus Crew. Federally insured by NCUA.
Now at UDF, buy 3 everyday favorites with UDrive Plus to quickly stack an extra 20 cents in gas savings. That includes Monster Energy and Red Bull and Gatorade and Body Armor. And that adds up. UDF, made for you. Specially marked products with an opted-in UDrive account.
The best of 2 leagues meet again this summer. Catch the stars of MLS and Liga MX as they show off their skills at the 2024 MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T. Tuesday, July 23rd at Lower.com Field. Tickets start at $25. Get your tickets now on Ticketmaster.
Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Welcome back in, Fan Sports Saturday. Ryan Baker here with you. Tim May as well. Glad to have you along on this holiday weekend, extended weekend here on the Fan. Efforting Graham Rahal right now, and it sounds like we do have Graham on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Graham up at Mid-Ohio this weekend for the Honda Indy 200. And Graham, this is the first time that you and I have ever spoken to each other, but Tim May tells me you will like this breaking news that we just got in the break, and that is that Ohio State has received a commitment from 4-star linebacker Riley Pettijohn. How do you like that news here on a Saturday?
Yeah, I just got the email blast saying that we got that. That's huge news. So, man, I can't wait. I'm so excited for football season, but obviously we got some business to take care of before we get there. But I can't wait to see how the Buckeyes do. Obviously, Tim and I have talked Ohio State football for as long as I've been alive. Yeah. So there's nobody better to get the download than Tim May on how things are going to go.
Yeah, I blamed Graham on that jinx in 1998 because he and his dad were in the end zone getting, I think, interviewed by Jack Arute during that game. His dad had just retired from Indy Car racing, and that's one of Graham's first games in the stadium. And, of course, we all know what happened that day against Michigan State. But, hey, I digress, Graham. I want to talk to you. I mean, early in practice today, it looked like you guys were kind of like running around trying to really get a good feel for this hybrid engine. And, of course, when push comes to shove at the end, I think y'all threw on some good tires, and you jumped up in the final practice there to number 2 behind Pato O'Ward. But you guys are the top 20 drivers right now. It looks like after practice are all separated by like a blink and a half of the eye, right? But you got to feel pretty good coming out of this practice.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel, like our cars definitely very competitive here. We were competitive yesterday in practice 1.
Yeah.
Mid-Ohio is freshly repaved, so a lot of new things going on here. But, it's home for me. It's always a race I want to do well at. I've always had great memories here. Obviously, winning in 2015, wearing my Ohio State helmet was a big deal for me on a personal level.
Yeah.
We started on the front row here last year. Didn't have a great race. Had some struggles in the pit stops and things that put us back. I think finishing 7th or 8th. And so, man, I would absolutely love nothing more than to start up front again and give ourselves a great shot tomorrow. I think the car is definitely in the window. I feel good, and I feel strongly that we got a great chance. Obviously, it'd be there's a lot of Ohio support here, so it'd be awesome to have a good result.
Yeah, you and I talked yesterday about you've almost been, I know you don't like to say it this way, but you've almost been jinxed the last several years. When's Graham going to win again? You've been so close in so many situations, including the Indianapolis 500 a couple years ago, and your left rear wheel comes off, leaving a pit stop. When y'all have played that race to a T to be at the front at the end, and stuff. So you got to figure luck has to turn eventually, right?
Yeah, I think so. it's always hard to say, if I'm frank.
Right.
Racing is so much luck, and yes, you got to prepare right. Yes, you've got to do everything right. You got to have great pit stops. You got to make no errors on the driving side. You got to do all of these things. But at the same time, you need lady luck too. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And, unfortunately over the last few years, we've not had that. I mean, it's that simple. And so, and as a driver, I mean, it's so frustrating. I mean, because last year, we started on pole twice, and everybody's like, oh man, if Graham starts on pole, he's going to just run away with it.
Right. Yeah.
And yet both of those times, we got, the Indy GP, a yellow comes out that perfectly saves the day for Scott Dixon. It ruined my race. I finished second, only like a second behind, but had that yellow not come out, we win that race by probably 20 seconds.
Hey, let me interject. That's about as bummed out as I've seen you after a race. You remember me even asking you some stupid question about the bum out factor, but you're right. I mean, go ahead.
Because that damn guy's only won like 55 times. It's
exactly.
You could give me one, I mean, it's, but it also is just that, that was the second time in 3 years.
Yes.
That exact situation had happened to me at Indy GP where, we dominated. I mean, absolutely dominated the race, ran up front all day, and a yellow flag saved. Happened to be the same guy, Dixie, both times.
Yeah.
And he wins both of those races. And so, after a while, you're like, man, when is this going to change? But the reality is you got to put your head down and just keep going. I mean, I got nothing else to say. I mean, that is just the truth of the matter. And hopefully this weekend, it would mean the world to me to get a win back here at home again. And we got Dwan Jones coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for, as I said, the things ahead. Obviously, it's a lot of Ohio support, a lot of local support here, and it means a lot to my family. So if we could break that curse and get over that jinx right here, I think we'd forget about a lot of the pain that we've had over the last few years.
Speaking with IndyCar driver Graham Rahal, he's up at Mid-Ohio for the Honda Indy 200. He's on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Tim mentioned the new hybrid engine that you guys are racing this weekend, and you mentioned the new pavement up at Mid-Ohio. How do both of those things change things for you guys, especially the strategy of pits with the hybrid engine?
Yeah, I mean, it changes quite a bit, just particularly qualifying is what's coming up next year in an hour and a half or two. And so it changes a lot because you've got to nail it. I mean, not only do you got to get your lap perfect, but the deployment of the hybrid when we utilize the electric power is really, really important, right? The boost, basically. And so, Formula One, it's all automated. So people know Formula One, they got hybrid. But for the drivers, it's all automated. You don't do anything as far as pressing buttons to deploy the power, et cetera. It's all in the software.
Right.
Whereas IndyCar, it's all up to the driver. And so that's a lot of extra pressure, particularly for an old guy like me. I say that kind of jokingly, but really, frankly, I'm not from the era of PlayStation to the level that these kids are. These kids are used to driving on PlayStation, pressing buttons, doing all this crazy stuff. So that is, as crazy as it is, that does make a difference.
Yes.
They're used to playing with these functions, whereas me, I'm used to the purity of just racing. And so it is an intriguing concept. It's a challenge for the teams because we've got to understand how to utilize it right. We've got to understand when to deploy the power right, when to regenerate the power. So, regeneration is, if you drive a hybrid on the street, right? Let's say you've got any Honda hybrid, because obviously that's what I'm driving. You'll see the electric motor is used from a stop, right? It uses the electric motor to get up to speed. Once you're up to speed, you'll see on your dash the little electric thing come up where it's regenerating the power. It's using the IC, internal combustion engine, to regenerate power once you're at freeway speed or whatever. It's very much the same for us. The difference with us is that we utilize a lot of the braking energy, so the rear brake temperature and everything else, to create the regeneration. So there's a lot that's going into this. I could go on all day. Nobody on here wants to hear my whole spiel about it. But my point is, there's a lot that goes into this. And so there's a lot for us to think about. There's a lot for us to understand how to utilize it appropriately, maximize it the best as possible, and give ourselves the advantage. And so, even in practice right then, we were P2, half a tenth off of P1. And if you look, I used it for about 20 feet less than I should have on the back straightaway, and that probably cost me a couple hundredths of a second. Not a lot, but a couple hundredths of a second in qualifying could be a couple of positions, as crazy as that is.
Yeah.
So it's important just to maximize it in every way possible.
Yeah, I was going to say, Graham, in modern IndyCar racing, people don't understand. It's almost like big-time golf. You miss one little shot, it can cost you because there are 20 other capable cars out there, car driver combos, right? And in qualifying, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I mean, because you've got to, even if it's only adding a little bit right now, it's still adding that little bit, that hybrid, and it's you've got to master it. And I think you've done a pretty good job, man, from what I've seen. I'm just curious on how in race trim, how it's going to go, where guys will maybe forget about it and go, oh no, I just killed myself. You know what I mean? Type thing. The race is really going to be
and it's very interactive, Tim. Taking your focus off the road and hitting the paddles and doing the things that you've got to do. It's not that easy. There's a lot that's going into it, and there's a lot that's happening. So I think there's just a lot of interaction that could become an interesting, distraction. Tomorrow. But for first things first is
qualifying.
Trying to make sure that we nail qualifying, and so that's what our focus is going to be.
Yeah, the old man though did pretty good in practice. I'm thinking it's going to work for you, man. Go ahead. Ryan wants to ask you something else.
Graham, just last one here for you. I know, like me, you're a big CBJ fan, as you are a Buckeyes fan. What do you think of some of the moves from the CBJ so far?
It's been good. I like Monahan a lot. I really wanted Cam to come back home. I'm good buddies with Cam. I really wanted, when the Flyers bought him out, I thought it was a perfect opportunity for him to come back and score some more goals for the Jackets. And he lives here, right? He lives here full time, so it would have been great to get him back. But Jack Johnson, I think, brings a really good level of experience and seniority to a very young lineup. Tim May knows this, and Matt Barnes with NBC, everybody knows that I'm a huge Werenski fan. Other than the fact that he went to that school up north, I really, really love what Zach brings. But but they needed some experience and maybe a little more depth, and I think he probably brings that. But to be honest, I think the biggest question mark, unless I missed something, is who the coach is going to be, and I think that's critical, frankly. Who knows? I saw Coach Q was reinstated. I know what happened. I know that's the touchy subject. But everywhere he's gone, he's won. And so, who knows where his deal may line up and fall in place. But I think that's going to be the next big thing, is to see who's going to be leading it. But clearly getting Don Waddle was a massive deal for the Jackets. I think that brings a level of intensity and focus to the team, I think, from an external view that we haven't had, if that makes sense. Like other players, the attraction to Columbus and things like that becomes greater because they know what he's been able to achieve with Carolina. So now, what does that do for the Jackets? So I think, and look, there's been no shortage of talent on the Blue Jackets. No shortage of talent, in my opinion. I think a lot of youth. And sometimes youth is a great thing, and youth and exuberance and everything else. But sometimes some seniority is needed and some good leadership to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And hopefully we'll start to see some of that.
Well, hopefully they'll have that coach in place here by the end of the week, and they can start getting rolling as they head towards the season. Graham, thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck today in qualifying and tomorrow in the race there at Mid-Ohio.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
He is IndyCar driver and Columbus's own Graham Rahal, joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. I know you're itching. You can't wait to get up there and see him race.
I like qualifying as much as the race, really, because, that's when guys just, for one moment, actually, they have 3 levels of qualifying. You have to move on up, but you see how fast you are, man. And, you've got everything in front of you for the most part, a clear track, especially when you get to the 12 12 driver and then the 6 driver the Fast 6, Firestone Fast 6, you've either got it or you don't. You go out there and show it.
We'll wrap up the show with that Ohio State breaking news next. It's Fan Sports Saturday on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
We always come through for you when you need us to. That's ECO's promise to you. And for AC repair and installation, that means today, not tomorrow. If you have an air-conditioned breakdown, we'll get a tech out to your home today. Or we'll give you a year's EcoFi Advantage membership for free. And make no mistake, we're a repair, not replace company. Our techs are trained to give you all your repair options. Sometimes, though, it just makes more financial sense to replace. And that's where we really come through for you when you need us to. Because we'll replace your AC system same day. No sleeping overnight in a hot, humid house. Or we'll take $1,500 off the cost of your new system and provide you with portable AC units for your bedroom. That's what coming through for you when you need us to means. So if you need AC repair, call ECO for same-day service. We'll get your home cool again. We'll make it happen today.
At geteco.com.
Great coaching can make all the difference, especially when it comes to your money. At Rhymetime Credit Union, our financial coaches are on your team. We'll help you create a winning game plan that's customized for your unique needs, so you can make the most of your hard-earned money and live the life you want to live. Best of all, Rhymetime Credit Union serves all of Central Ohio, so getting in the game is easy. Let's win together. Stop by one of our Central Ohio member centers to get started today. Equal housing opportunity, insured by NCUA.
Listen up, gamers. Mountain Dew has always been your go-to for a refreshing citrus kick. Now it's also your go-to for gaming rewards. With Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards, you just look for codes under the caps of specially marked 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew. Enter those codes online to bank points, and then redeem them for awesome gaming gear. Everything from gift cards, game copies, controllers, consoles, custom Mountain Dew gaming gear, and more. Join Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards now.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at MountainDewGaming.com and 1525. Voter prohibited.
Unlock big savings and add style and security to your home with Schlag Locks from Menards. Whether you're looking for a traditional interior lock or a Wi-Fi compatible electronic lock, Menards has you covered with more than 200 options of Schlag Locks available. Check out all of the options at Menards. #1 in customer satisfaction among home improvement retailers according to J.D. Power. For more information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
The Buckeyes are starting fall camp and we're tagging along. The Fan is broadcasting live August 1st through the 4th at Ohio State football practice. Morning juice and Bishop and Friends Thursday and Friday, plus live weekend programming. Let's go.
America's favorite car show returns to Ohio for the biggest hot rodding event of the year. It's the Good Guys 26th Summit Racing Nationals, and it's all taking place July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Check out thousands of chrome and candied hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Shop the huge swap meet and vendor midway and see which rides take home the crown of the Good Guys 2024 Classic Instrument Street Rod and PPG Street Machine of the Year. It's all happening July 12th through the 14th at the Ohio Expo Center, and you don't want to miss it. Get complete details at good-guys.com.
We go to war for you.
Insurance disputes can be a battle, a cage match, but we're here to win it for you. I'm Robert Scherger. At Scherger Schnarr Trial Attorneys, we know the law and we'll fight for your rights. Call us at 877-WARFORYOU.com or visit warforyou.com for a free consultation. That's 877-WAR-FOR-YOU. 877-WAR-FOR-YOU or visit warforyou.com.
War for you, warforyou.com.
This is Ice-T, repping Raising Cane's Iced Tea, the official iced tea of iced tea. Brewed throughout the day and perfectly poured over Cane's signature crush ice makes Cane's Iced Tea the only iced tea as fresh as me. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic, Hidden Valley Ranch, or new smoky barbecue. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Hey, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Sale. Hello. Save up to 50% on outdoor furniture and indoor essentials and have your best summer.
Oh, how about storage for my inflatable flamingos?
We've got you covered. Let's turn your space into a summer haven with space for birds. Awesome. Visit us in store from June 12th to July 9th or at ikea-usa.com/midsummer. Offer valid dates may vary. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store and ikea-usa.com/midsummer for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday.
Having those YouTube cameras in here, though, makes it a little trickier for not having your pants on. Last
Correct.
segment of Fan Sports Saturday for today. Ryan Baker and Tim May, we were glad to have you along with us. We had a couple of breaking news things happen while we were on the show today. Just some more details real quick about the sad news in the NFL. Vikings rookie cornerback Kyrie Jackson passes away in an overnight crash in Maryland last night. 2 other former college football players have passed in this as well. Isaiah Hazel, who played at Maryland and Charlotte, and Anthony Litton Jr., who played at Florida State and Penn State, were in the car with Jackson. They were high school teammates, all of them, and all 3 of them passed away. So very sad news there. And then good news for Ohio State, Tim May. Riley Pettijohn, big-time linebacker, 4-star, commits to the Buckeyes. James Laurinaitis, in his first official year in recruiting cycle as the linebackers coach, nabs the number 5 and the number 8 linebacker in the class. No surprise, he's already paying dividends.
Yeah, he was zeroed in on Pettijohn for a while, man. I mean, he probably knows McKinney, Texas better than people who live there. But that's you can't say it any other different. It's a huge pickup for them because it's a guy they very much wanted, and they won that battle. And it's nationwide battles. I think people appreciate that. Maybe they don't. For these big-time players, these 4- and 5-star players, he's a 5-star on some list, 4-star on the other. But I'm telling you, watch his video, which, I'm one of those weird. I watch that stuff.
For sure.
This guy can rock and roll and then rock you when he gets there. And that's what's – but it's big-time pickup for them.
So the recruiting gods giveth and the recruiting gods taketh away.
And then giveth again.
Yeah, this week for Ohio State in the recruiting position. Tim, as always, it has been fun hanging out with you for a couple hours. Now get up to Mid-Ohio.
You got it. Got my engines running. Gentlemen, start your engine.
Jacob Reimer, thanks for everything that you did on that side of the glass. Buckeye Replay, the first one of the season, comes your way next, and it's a good one. Ohio State versus Washington in the Rose Bowl 2019. Urban Meyer's last game. Timmy Hall has a great interview with Urban Meyer for this. You're not going to want to miss it. It's next. 97.1 The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Tired of rising food prices? Start saving with deals for days at Giant Eagle and Market District. Enjoy low prices on more than 1,000 of your go-to grocery items store-wide. Dive into deals for a limited time at your local Giant Eagle and Market District.
Incredible lease deals for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Now through July 6th, lease a 2024 Civic LX for $249 a month, or a 24 Accord LX for $259 a month, even a CRV front-wheel drive for $279 a month. 36-month lease, payments plus tax, title, document fees, and $29.99 due at signing. 10,000 miles a year, includes Honda loyalty with approved credit. From the Honda dealership in Central Ohio, Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Parkway, just south of 270.
Score a goal with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the checking account that rewards you for supporting the crew. Learn more at pathwayscu.com. Pathways Financial Credit Union, official credit union of the Columbus Crew, federally insured by NCUA.
At AAA, it's our policy to look on the plus side, and AAA Plus members tend to take the same view. Take Martin. Last Monday, his coffee surprised him with an extra 10 degrees of Fahrenheit. It was just the jolt of energy he needed. Later, when he walked into a door, he was happy to provide entertainment for his coworkers.
I'm okay.
And when his car battery took early retirement, he knew expert roadside assistance was only a call away.
Hello, AAA.
Become a AAA Plus member and experience peace of mind on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just a slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
The best of rivals. The best of two leagues meet again this summer. MLS versus Liga MX face off in the 2024 MLS All-Star starting Sunday, July 21st. After a weekend of soccer celebrations, MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T will come to Lower.com Field on Tuesday, July 23rd, featuring MLS All-Stars versus Liga MX All-Stars as they show off the best of their skills. The two teams will match up once more at the 2024 MLS All-Star Game presented by Target on Wednesday, July 24th. For more information on tickets and events, visit MLSsoccer.com/All-Star.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science.